All right, what's up, everybody? How you doing out there? Thinker St. James here, and it is Friday, and that means it is the free-for-all where we go over all the comedy and the tragedy in the world of mixed martial arts. With me to do just that and conduct this train is Mr. Chase Parton. How are you, Chase?
We are good. Absolutely. This is another Good Friday, and I can't wait to talk about some good things. Obviously, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Thursday, yesterday, this was a holiday. Everybody, hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Happy
Did you have a good
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving? Talk about everybody. Talk about everybody else later. Talk about you first.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. Yeah, I had a very nice, very quiet Thanksgiving with a couple of friends. Just made it a real laid back one, watched a little football, and also in the midst of that football, got a little MMA announcement in there as well. I'm sure that'll come up over the course of this thing. But yeah, real chill, a little turkey, little stuffing, little, a couple laughs with the friends, and nothing wrong with a nice, easygoing Thanksgiving as far as I'm concerned. I am thankful, as I had said on the previous stream, I am thankful for all of our great viewers out there as well. So, the friends and family are just an extension of that. Really nice and laid back and made it very enjoyable. I hope that was similar for you, Chase. How was yours?
Oh yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Loved it. Love to hear it from your end. And everybody, just know that Chase doesn't celebrate holidays too much, but when Thanksgiving comes around, he celebrates. That's one thing that he knows how to do is get a plate full. And obviously, I'm not getting two plates full because the first plate is enough, but it is good and it is what I need one time a year. So
I mean,
everybody,
if you're
hope
not
you
going to
have the
go
same.
back for seconds on Thanksgiving, when are you going to do it, right?
Well, I mean, listen, I do go back for seconds, but the problem is that one plate. Listen, my appetite. I get that plate full, but either way, everybody hope you had a good Thanksgiving. We can talk about that more later.
True.
I think there's more pressing matters that we need to get into because there are just news flying all over the board for this week, and we are going to start with some more tame ones. And this one is just very, very interesting. I don't know if anybody noticed, but Cristiano Ronaldo, Gronk move. How do you get him out of there? Cristiano Ronaldo becomes a shareholder of Wow FC. Whatever this is, some Spanish MMA promotion. I just love the name Wow FC.
Well, I mean, it's not just some Spanish MMA promotion. It is Ilia Toporia's Spanish MMA promotion. That is how I know it, actually. I forget what stream we were on, but someone from Spain was in the chat and said, hey, check out some of the fights from WoW FC. And so I've seen a couple of their fights. I think that they're on Fight Pass, which, I don't know if all of you know out there. I think I was talking about it on one of the other streams as well. But Fight Pass is currently running a promotion, 3 months free. Promo code welcome. No sponsorship there, just a little homie move. So I say that to say that I have signed up for Fight Pass now, finally, after all this time doing the show. So I might be watching some WoW FC on Fight Pass. Either way, the thing that I know about WoW FC, aside from it being Ilya's promotion, is that the production value is really good. I was very impressed with their visual presentation. And now I guess with Ronaldo throwing a little bit of cash behind it, perhaps a little bit more of a bump in the stock. What are you thinking about this, Chase?
All right, you sold me. I got to get my hands on some WoW FC. What did you say this promo code is? One more time, drop it for the people at home.
It is promo code welcome. You go into Fight Pass, pick any tier that you'd like. Promo code welcome will make it free for 3 months.
Obviously, you pick the highest tier for 3 months, but That is a very good thing to know. Thank you, Thinker Say James. Obviously, I failed to go ahead and give some love to the chat, so I
Oh,
apologize. We're gonna
please
go ahead and
do.
start that really quick. So, Beeb, Rick Allen's two fathers. I hope they had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good one as well. Nav, oh my gosh, Nav is one of the funniest people in the Discord. I tell you guys right now, if you don't know this, this guy is a comedian. He's going to go on to do great things that probably are going to get somebody arrested later. But it's great. It's great.
Nav is a legend, and only more legendary with the new name, which is the at sign and Nav wanna now brother. You couldn't do better, my man.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. Love that, love that. But no, if anybody has anything to say about Cristiano Ronaldo jumping in here with Ilya, this is a good time to have it because I personally, more money is obviously good when it's coming into to a promotion. We're obviously going to talk a little bit later about pumping and dumping with money into promotions, but
Sure.
I'm excited to see. I mean, if this is seriously something that because you put me on one. Think about that. You were like, "Yo, one is like something that me and Fitz, we would like to be watching, get more time." Went out of my way to watch it, and I love it now. So if you genuinely do like this product, if you've seen it, and it's fine, the production value is up, and they're only going to get more. So I'm kind of excited. I'm digging it.
Yeah, well, I mean, let me preface that thought by just saying, I mean, it is still a a secondary tier a promotion. So I mean, you're getting the quality level of below the elites and UFC level perhaps, but I believe that WoW was on the knockout compilation that we watched on the pre-Thanksgiving stream. So a couple of good finishes at the very least from this year. So it's going to be a mixed bag like it always is at that level, but either way, still a decent one. I don't know as far as other things that we're going to be talking about, so I don't want to jump the gun too much, but it is kind of interesting with Ilya Taporia specifically being the head and the face of this thing, how his situation with his now ex is going to be factoring into this. Maybe Ronaldo comes in to pump it with a little bit of a cash infusion on the back end while Ilya gets his finances all sorted out.
And I don't know if it's just because I am so dumb, but when you started that statement, you're like, I don't know if Ronaldo is going to come. I was like, be his lawyer. Hmm. Yeah.
Yes, Cristiano Ronaldo Esquire is coming in
Yeah.
to save the day.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with me, guys, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, there's no way he's going to pull that one off.
Well,
Like,
but I
whoa,
mean, had he consulted with Ronaldo in the first place, maybe he would have known not to meet his wife in Miami.
listen, listen. But either way, great times. Savage, we'll give you a shout out. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving
Hey,
yourself, my man. You're a
always shout
beast.
out
Uh,
Savage.
Way of Warrior Fighting Championship, crazy name. It is kind of crazy, but when I see WoW FC, I say World of Warcraft FC. It's gonna be only thing I see.
True, definitely that, and also to me, it's just like whenever I look at it, I'm just like, wow,
Yeah,
like holy shit, fighting,
yeah. Like damn, they really do fighting over there. It makes you go wow. Yeah,
bro. They are punching each other over there. Do you know that? Damn,
yeah.
that's crazy.
No, that's a good one. Well, I don't know. Speaking of punching each other over there or
Sure.
whatever they're doing in other locations, I don't know if you knew. Uh, John Jones is in Chechnya. He's hanging out there. Apparently, he's with Hamzat here. This is the first part of said clip. Um, Now he's bought an apartment in Chechnya. I don't know if anybody is aware, but John Jones is not from Chechnya. But
This is facts. That part is factual. From what I have heard, though, the buying of the apartment was actually not true.
okay,
But there is a reason behind this. Now, this is all very interesting. This whole Chechnya thing is very interesting stuff. So, John Jones goes over to Chechnya. I don't know. Do you have anything about the ruler of the nation coming up here? Because I don't want to jump the gun on that. If it
all right.
is,
Well, I had a really funny joke. I was going to cut you off and be like, "All right, shut the fuck up. Here's John Jones shooting an RPG."
and just like that, a school is gone.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because who knows where he's shooting this? Like they're telling you that's like, yeah, there's nothing over there, but I don't know what's going on over there, brother. They shot that 3 miles away. Where are you guys? What do you guys know about 3 miles away right now? You're over here.
Eh,
So there's
Well,
that
fair
portion
enough.
of it. Go ahead.
Sure.
There is more. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. So if you go to here's the original part.
There it is.
Here, are these too loud a little bit? I can turn them down. I'm sorry.
This is dirty fighting now.
No, you gotta do it. You gotta have that. That's legal.
My shoulder.
Shaking in his boots right now.
MMA, you go box.
Being led around by the hand like Dana.
Listen.
Okay, so
yeah, go. I'll let you go ahead before I talk about him holding his hand.
Well, I appreciate the context here. This is a good rundown of everything. So let me just explain a little bit of this, right? So John Jones goes over to Chechnya. Chechnya, a nation that is that man that he is being led around by the hand by is Ramzan Kadyrov. He is a war criminal. That's a pretty bad man, folks. If you're not aware of all the things that go on over in Chechnya, a lot of people disappear over there. I don't want to go too deep into it without full knowledge of everything. And I don't think a lot of people outside of the nation really do have full knowledge of everything. But I say all
now
that.
This is getting sinister now that John Jones, I know the apartment thing was false, but if that was true, oh brother.
Well, bro, this goes deep. So what this nation does, what Kadyrov does, is he uses MMA for what they call sports washing. I think we've talked about this on stream at some point in the past, where basically in order to gain legitimacy on the world stage, they will they will put fighters out from the nation. They will prop up their sports programs in order to be an international player and thus gain legitimacy because, hey, we're just like you guys. We're in the same organizations. We've got fighters doing this thing behind the scenes, nowhere near as equitable, perhaps. So this is all an extension of that. John Jones, much like if you recall, I think it was maybe a year or two ago, something like that. Justin Gaethje and a couple other guys were over there as well. All part of the same program. They bring these guys over there to do photo ops and do exactly what John Jones is doing. This is all publicity and PR. John Jones, I'm sure, is being paid very handsomely for this. Now, when it comes to the apartment, the reason that the apartment was not is false is, yes, he did not buy an apartment, but what they were doing is apparently there's a region in Chechnya that they have built a bunch of new apartment complexes that no one in the country can afford. And they were saying that John Jones was getting an apartment there to try to infuse that area with new investors for basically valueless property, because the area is so war torn that like no one, I mean, if you have to live there, you'll live there, but no one can afford to live there. So it's almost a catch-22. It's like we can't afford, the people of the nation can't afford to live there. People from outside the nation are not going to live there. They've got new apartments. Who's going to be in them? So that's what that was about, was John Jones kind of trying to do a little PR for them, as all of this has been.
I can tell you who's going to live in those homes. If you've ever seen this show on Netflix called Arrested Development, there's probably some family out there who lives in these empty ass homes. I don't know if you didn't get that reference, dude.
Like a squatting thing. No, I'm not. I know the show. I didn't catch the rest though. My bad, bro.
Anybody out there, please help me. Either way, we can.
Were they squatting in a house? My bad.
Well, they just lived in a. I don't know what the hell they're called. Somebody will help me. Either way, check the show. It's like the first episode they teach you this. Either way. So, speaking of John Jones, if there's anything else that you want to say, oh wait, here's.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just yeah, okay, here, go for it. Just hugging a war criminal. Criminal and criminal right here. Spy versus spy.
Спасибо. I'm glad to be here, Chef.
Oh, this is 2 minutes. Jesus.
Your son showed me a great time earlier today.
Well, we'll stop and we'll talk. We'll see how far we get into this. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that like, yeah, you can play as much as you want of this. It's all just going to be this. It's all going to be very surface level, very pleasant. Hi, how are you, kind of things. Okay. It's all PR.
I don't need to go 2 minutes of that. I just want to say, the original clip of them holding hands. Listen, I'm not trying to have a war criminal on my back, but we got to stop with it. We got to stop. Either way, I'm not the one to be led around by another, person by hand like that. It's kind of just not my thing. John Jones, come on, take a stand.
Do you think that these like because it's him, it's Turkey al Sheikh with Dana. Like, do you think? Because everybody will say it's a cultural, regional thing, right? But do you think that there is an element of emasculation that is inherent to that? Like, is that
I
that like?
don't yeah, I don't know. Listen, I'm not the one to get into it, like I said. I mean, I being led around like that is just not my thing. And John Jones, it probably is kind of his thing. Like,
Well, I mean, to that point, what a lot of people have been saying about this encounter here with John Jones and Kadyrov is that with all of the speculation surrounding John Jones and his preferences as to who he lays with, that would not fly in that region of the world. So I'm not, look, that's all speculation. Still, Guru makes one video and then, the entire world has an opinion about it based off of that. I'm not just here to say whether that's true or not, but what I am saying is that if there is any kernel of truth to it, that's not the guy you want to be hanging out with.
well, how many people do you think he hit with a Jeep? And do you think any of them were women that were pregnant?
I mean, I think the problem is that over there it was probably on purpose.
Yeah. So speaking of the All American John Jones, I think there are plenty of news in the sphere of wrestling that we get to talk about. I know you hate pro wrestling. I know you don't want to talk about it ever.
This is a false perception. I do not hate pro wrestling. I was actually just watching Botchamania today. Shout out to Matthew.
Okay,
I enjoy pro wrestling. I don't like the intersection of pro wrestling and MMA very much.
you're gonna love the intersection here because get fucked. We have Michael Chandler and others in the pro wrestle. I don't think that it's not pro
No,
wrestling.
this is
It's pro
freestyle.
freestyle wrestling. So here we got a little trailer for you, and I hope you just get wrecked by this.
Okay.
Come get it.
Nice. I stopped knowing people after the second person. Goes on for really long too.
I mean,
Oh,
there's one.
okay.
Chad Mendes in there.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Play Guida.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. They're bringing some decent names over to Real American Freestyle. That was definitely a lot of tough-looking men and women in onesies. I will tell you that.
Yeah, fair.
I'm fine with all of that element of it. The Real American Free. I'm actually kind of glad that they're keeping it going, considering that after Hulk Hogan, who was a major investor in this thing, originally, when this idea first came about, he was kind of the big proponent of it. Obviously, he's passed away. I'm glad that they're still doing their thing and they're bringing some decent names into it. And if there's an audience for it, then bravo to them.
Do you think that there's gonna be some like they're gonna set the standard for some ongoing tribute to Hulk Hogan? Like every time they start the show, it's like this is in tribute to Hulk Hogan, like this was in memory of Hulk Hogan. Do you think something like that's gonna happen?
Well, I mean, technically, every time that they do an event is a tribute because Real American comes from Hulk Hogan's theme song. So
Who
there's
knows?
that. But yeah, maybe they have like the Hulk Hogan Memorial Tournament, you know what I mean, or some
Right.
award or something in his honor. I mean, whatever they want to do with that, that's perfectly acceptable, I would say.
Okay, so well, I'm just glad we got to bring this up. The only reason I bring this up is because I got on Twitter maybe 30 minutes before the show started, and this was shown right in my face. I said, "Oh fuck yeah, we got to talk about it." I don't even know when this is. November 29th. Did this already happen? This is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Nice. All right.
There you
So
go.
if anybody needs anything to do at 9 p.m. on a Saturday, they picked a good day to do it because the UFC ain't on. Tell you
Very
that.
true. Yeah, well,
Um,
and this is funny. The reason that I know where this airs because it says streaming exclusively on Fox Nation. That's Fox's proprietary streaming platform. So yeah, you can watch that, but you're gonna have to get a subscription to Fox Nation, and then you're gonna be partaking in all of the other high quality content that is being pumped out over there, which you can decide for yourself whether or not you think that that's the case.
No, that just made me really mad because like I sat here and I'm like, oh, November 29th, 9 p.m. tomorrow. You know what? It's supposed to snow. I might have some time. I might have something to watch. And then you just told me it's on Fox fucking Nation, brother. Who already has that? Who
Who has it? I can tell you who has it. People who are on one very specific side of the political aisle.
Jesus Christ, mate. Well, either way, I want you to. That's a great segue. Speaking of one side of the political aisle, I don't know if you knew also. This is really good. Great news. More wrestling news. Bilal Muhammad joined. Oh,
That's what I was
there
gonna
we
say.
fucking
That's
go.
I'm glad that you put that on there because I guess he's on a different event. I guess he's on one next month. But I had seen this and I was like, oh well, where's Bilal and all of that? And I obviously now I have the answer. So if you weren't already sold by watching Michael Chandler in freestyle wrestling, I mean, obviously the big draw is here, people. The moneymaker has arrived.
Is this not an AI picture?
I
Is
mean,
this not Bilal's head on somebody else's body? Am I wrong
either
here?
that or they just took the stock photo from his UFC photo shoot and just put it on there. Like they might get they might have some copyright issues with that. The UFC's graphic department coming in
Hulk
there
Hogan
to
is it's going to be rolling in his grave with all these lawsuits. More
well,
lawsuits.
he'll just say that he got permission,
Yeah,
and
true.
just add that to the list of all the other lies from that guy.
Well, speaking of permission, let me tell
Yes,
you about one person who does not seek permission. He does what the fuck he wants when he wants. And this is, this is leading up to what we had got. So, this is what we first got, the announcement that Dana White was going to be at the halftime show of this CBS game. They didn't specifically say which one, by the way. They just said he's going live on Instagram during the halftime show. Two things. He didn't say the name of the thing. And two, he didn't go live on Instagram, not one bit. It was a pre recorded fucking message. Um, but this is what we initially got. This is the first instance where we got a little bit of a we got a little time to think like what's gonna happen here. What are we gonna get? Ilya already said I'm done. Like I'm out for a little bit. I'm gonna go take care of the fam, which we can actually talk about that for a brief second before we move on.
sure. I mean, that's one of the bigger stories within all of this.
True,
I
yeah, I actually forgot. My apologies, everybody. I mean, it was gonna come gradually when we talk about, but Ilya Taporia is stepping away from the sport as of right now to go do legal battles, and custody of the kids. I mean, it sucks, but you gotta do it.
bro, I mean, look, man, I am not a red pill manosphere type of guy, right? Like I don't want to present that way. That's not the ideology that I personally ascribe to, but there are elements of it, like bits and pieces that if you connect the dots, kind of have a little bit of basis in reality. And I would say that Ilya fell into as easy of the trap that all of those guys are preaching against as it possibly could be. You meet essentially, I don't want to, that's the mother of his children. I don't want to be like speaking too out of turn, but you're in Miami, you meet a chick in Miami. I mean, like with that video from a while back with those dudes kind of memeing on it and him
The
getting
Nelk Bowl.
was it the Nelk Boys? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't recognize them, but it makes sense. But yeah, him getting memed on by the Nelk Boys. It's like, why do you think that comes about? Like, what do you think that those guys just made that up? Like, it's like you got to be more discerning about who you are committing to, and for Ilya to go full in on it when he is but this is a tale as old as time. You're the one holding all the cards. You're the money maker. You're the champ of the world. I mean, I don't know if he was at the time or whatever. I think it was before that. Either way, you're the big name. You're the dude in the spotlight. You are the draw. You are the one bringing in all that cash. What kind of job did she have? Can you tell me, Chase?
walking
Oh,
around the beach of Miami with her ass out. I mean,
bingo, exactly. So come on, bro. I mean, again, like how many times do you have to see the same thing happen to 8 million other people before you realize that maybe you should have taken some steps to protect yourself from exactly this? As soon as they broke up, I was like, she's going after half. What happened? A couple days later, tweets come out. She's going after half. I'm like, there you go. This is again the same old song and dance. So all I will say is if you are out there and you are, just you're navigating through life when it comes to interpersonal relationships, just always make sure that you are considering yourself. That's all I'm
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, so that was, we knew that going into this announcement that was being made, but there was so many things to speculate. Where's Armin fit into this equation?
Sure.
How long are we gonna have to wait for Ilya? Because at the time, that was the case. Ilya ain't giving up that fucking belt. What are you talking about? And he's still, not obviously, but
We literally saw him in Qatar at the weigh-ins for the Armin fight. So it's like,
true,
what's the selling of that way? Why is he
true.
there? You know what I mean?
So, and so what ended up happening, and I actually want to get into this next point before we get into the news break, because I think this is just a very slight change that we can talk about really quick. The UFC is now starting 1 hour before usual time.
Love it.
If anybody out there has been wanting to stop yawning every time you get to the main card after you've watched the prelims, here's your moment. You can actually get well rested the day before, and when you get through the fights, you don't feel like you've been through excruciating like delirium because your eyes are fucking weighed like 17 pounds. But either way, this is really good. Really
Yeah.
small thing to note. I don't know if
What
you have
I
anything bigger to note.
all I've been saying about it is that one Red Bull St. James is going to usher in a new era. This is a new mythical podcaster that has been unlocked with this. The days of two Red Bulls are over based on this announcement. So praise be.
And yeah, it is just 1 hour. We're kind of being hyperbolic, but either way,
True.
uh, I very small thing to note, but we did have to bring it up. Now let's actually get into everything that had been broken down. This is
It's so much.
the entire summary. Now, to note, there was only just these five, I think, six. What is that? Six, seven? I don't fucking know. Can't count. These were the ones announced on halftime with Dana White, where he came in and he had his little pre-recorded message with his 20 fucking his 4K camera. Like, it's crazy. I don't know how he gets the production like that.
That was the pre-recorded nature of it was pretty funny because like I was watching the broadcast when this was happening because my friends I was with were football fans, so I was like, hey guys, during the halftime the break there, just if you let me watch this because it's kind
Yeah,
of
my
important.
moment.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that it's going to be him talking to the guy in the studio. No, he gets the toss from the studio. It goes right to that ultra high definition video, like you had said, and it's just Dana at home.
What's up, fight fans?
Yeah, pretty much. He's just on the couch. It's time for football and fighting. I'm just kidding, guys. No fighting in football, but we're gonna have them here. And it's just Dana in his pitch mode. I
Yeah.
wonder if that was actually his house, though, or if that was a set. I was curious about that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I actually think, funny enough, I think I saw a recent clip of him in that same set, and he had like an IV in him, and people were like, "What's the IV about?" And then
Hmm.
people were tweeting, "You're never gonna get the fucking answer about it." So either way, just stupid stuff.
All
So
right.
these were the ones that were announced on the broadcast. By the way, it wasn't a video of him like in the war room. Like, again, he was just sitting on the couch, and then it cuts to a screen where these five fights are on the screen, and you just get to look at it. It's not like you get to have the suspense of like what's going to be announced next. It's like, all right, so we got that. All right, have a good day, guys.
Well,
Appreciate you.
just to take one step back in the bigger picture to all of this, what you are seeing with that is this is now the synergy between the UFC and Paramount because this is Paramount is NBC or CBS, whichever one that is. Which one of the major networks that's the connection with Paramount. So you're seeing all the cross promotion that's happening. I would suspect you're going to be seeing a lot more of that in the future. You're getting fight announcements on regular broadcast television, that kind of stuff. This is all to try to draw people to the Paramount Plus platform where the UFC will be airing. So it all makes sense if you connect the dots. But it was kind of funny that Dana is announcing this from basically the same Airbnb where your favorite adult content is probably filmed.
100%. So what I think we should do, and don't give, I think what'll be nice, because we're obviously going to have to talk about these fights or the fights that get replaced by them, whatever the case may be,
Sure.
eventually. So just right off the bat, while we go through these, I just want you to just list off who you think's going to win. Just no reason, no rhyme or reason. Just do this real quick. So the first
Okay.
fight that we got announced is this interim lightweight title fight, and this is between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. Like we were talking about before, Ilya is not giving up the belt. He is just taking time away to go deal with his legal battle. So now we have an interim title shot for, once again, Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. Who do you got?
I got Paddy Pimblett. I'm just going to throw this up real quick, and I'm not even going to address it. Shout out to Beeb for this, and then we're going to move on because
Yeah.
it's a feeling that I'm agreeing with, and that's that. But yes, I have Paddy in that fight. How about you?
Yes, I also have Paddy Pimblett in that fight. And, actually, Beeb, why
Oh,
is my chat... Why is my chat not updating anymore? I feel like you responded to it. Where'd that
I
come
mean,
from?
this was from a while back, but
Oh, okay. I was
yeah,
about to say,
yeah,
yeah,
that
no,
was
that's
just
awesome.
Sure.
Okay, so the next fight here that we got announced was the women's bantamweight title fight between Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunez, the return of the Lioness. What are your thoughts here?
I think I'm more conflicted than a lot of people, but I gotta go with the goat. Gotta go with Amanda.
Thank you very much. I'm going with a minute. We'll definitely talk about why I'm thanking you
Sure.
later. But to save face, the next fight that was announced on there, and the one that nobody gave a shit about at all. I can tell you that I had zero conversations about. Nobody even said, "Hey, did you see that got announced?" It's like, did you see? Like, bro, there's like 7 other ones that are way better. Either way, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Some 3 round fight that's probably not going to be that good in my opinion, but.
Yeah, tap fighty. I mean, former champ, regardless of how tremendously his stock has dropped. Sean O'Malley is my choice for that one.
I'll take Sean O'Malley as well. Damn. I'm trying. I looked at it for a second. I even took a little longer. You would have been like, "Yo, are you froze?" No,
Yeah.
I was thinking about Song first. Like, gosh, but no, I'm taking the Sugar Show. God damn, we still run this shit till 2032 or whatever he said. But either way, the next fight, and this is actually the funniest one. This is the banger right here. Banger alert. Waldo Cortez Acosta, the Salsa Boy, versus the Black Beast, Derek Lewis. Who saw this coming? I actually think, shout out to Big Onk in the Discord. He saw this coming. He
And
definitely saw this coming.
shout out to my chat on the pre-Thanksgiving stream. We were literally talking about this exact matchup before it was announced, and here it is. So, because people were speculating who, based on what you had said on the previous show, saying that like if Waldo's going to fight again, it should probably be Tybura, and I was kind of echoing that, and they were like, "What about Lewis?" And I said, "Oh well, I mean, if
Yeah.
you really want to break it down, I mean, that makes sense too. So here's that fight."
Not to go too much into it, but the reason it makes so much sense too is because Derek Lewis is saved for people that are like, it's a known person that you go up against. Taliesin Teixeira had a big following. Like, people really thought that he could be the next thing. Waldo is somebody. I was talking with Elite. Shout out, Mank in the Discord. I was talking to my dad, but I was telling Elite about this. When I was talking to my dad and I was showing him the Waldo fight, I was like, yeah, this is this Waldo's a nobody. And he was like, he ain't no nobody. He's somebody now. And it was just so stupid of him. And like, I'm going to mock him, of course, but like, it's true. Like, he is somebody now. That's why Derek Lewis versus him makes sense, is because Derek Lewis is the goat of the heavyweights,
Well,
so.
and I, again, I know we're not supposed to be going too deep in, but what I said on the podcast is, to me, very true. Like, Waldo made himself a somebody by coming in on 48 hours notice,
Yeah,
jumping off a plane into a weigh-ins, and then knocking somebody out in a foreign country. I mean, like, that's how you become that. So
100%.
I really, so anyway, okay, well, so what's your choice?
Uh,
I know that, and
I'm
it's a
taking
good fight
Derek
though.
Lewis. I'm
I
sorry.
I got to as well, man. I mean, like, it's, why is because Derek Lewis went through that little shaky period. So I think a lot of people kind of, it raises some questions perhaps. But Derek Lewis, he has that way of just coming through clutch when like the time is right for it. But I will say, if Waldo beats him, then he really is somebody at that point.
I not to go too far. My analytical mind that I was talking with Elite about this is Waldo is actually going to do well, and he will get into round 2 and then probably beat Derek Lewis. But Derek Lewis just knocks everybody out that he touches. So fuck it.
And
I
he
can't
can
really.
do it late in the fight too if it goes that way. So just saying.
So either way, the next fight that was announced on, this is the last one that was on the CBS halftime sports network show, whatever the fuck was going on. I don't know why they said it that way. Arnold Allen versus John Silva here. And this one is fun. And what I'll initially say, just because I can't help myself but talk about fights, Arnold Allen has exactly what Diego Lopez has, is and to use to beat John Silva, and that's just hard nosed aggression. Like, John Silva is just too playful, and some people get roped into that. Arnold Allen is not somebody that I think will get roped into the games, just like Diego Lopez didn't. But
I mean, and that's a fair assessment, but Arnold Allen is not Diego Lopez, and I think that this is going to be a nice bounce back for Mr. Silva here. I'm going with John Silva.
I'm taking the almighty. This is obviously a good one for him. But either way, we'll get into it later. The next one, this is another one that nobody cared about ever. Nobody even tweeted about this, and who cares? Alexa Grasso versus Rose Namajunas. And The reason this is good is because Alexa Grasso being a former title holder, same with Rose, so it's like a legacy thing. It's like, it builds whoever's resume. But at the end, I'm just Rose. You don't know who's gonna show up. And then with Alexa Grasso, she's even in that same camp now. Like, how the hell do you beat Shevchenko, choke her out, get random 10-8s, and then you just look like complete dog water the next ones? Like, I don't know. It's just this one is not my cup of tea.
Yeah, no, same. Rose has been decent since her comeback. Grasso, like you said, and that sort of needing a bounce back kind of dealy. This is a tough one for me to actually make a call. And I do care about this fight. I don't know. I mean, I guess you're saying no one really cares. I like it.
Well, not nobody cares. I mean, as of right now, there was plenty better things to talk about, is the way that I will phrase that. My
Sure.
apologies. Rose Namajunas, Alexa Grasso, you both have plenty to be talked about. You guys are very good in the sport, respectively, but I'm going to go ahead and take. Damn, I got to
This
take
is
Rose. I got to take Rose.
it's tough. This is a legit coin flip here. I
Mhm.
mean,
Minus
right.
200 for Rose.
That's wild to me, man. I don't necessarily see, especially because this probably is going to be more striking. I don't know. I mean, fuck it. I'll take Grasso on that then. I mean, just for the sake of being a little bit different, but yeah, like I said, it's a coin flip in my book anyway.
Yeah. So the next one we get was Umar Nurmagomedov and Davis and Figueiredo. This one is absolutely wild because it makes sense and it's a good resume builder for Umar, but it does feel a little tailor made for Umar because we know Davis and Figueiredo is so washed. Like, did we not forget the performance that he put up against Montel Jackson that got a split decision? Mate,
True.
Umar is gonna smoke him. Like, not even, no doubt. Like, thankfully, it's just 3 rounds where we can get that over quick. But
Yeah, I mean, he tweaks his knee one more time, and this thing is a real quick fight. Yeah, Umar doing Umar things is what seems like the logical choice there.
and then so the last one. Well, there's some more, but so this one, Ateba Gutier versus Andre Puliev. Now, this one is absolutely funny because we have the Gautier. This guy here, massive fucking. He's just a G. So, and Puliev, to be fair, he did not look good at all against Christian Leroy Duncan. He had a comeback. He had a win against. We just talked about in the Discord. I forget who he beat. He finished somebody.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember he was saying he didn't, wasn't himself in his first fight, jitters, all that kind of stuff.
but
Came
to
back,
be
did better.
but to be fair, he took this fight with Gautier. So if he took the fight with Christian Leroy Duncan and he was too passive and evasive and did not want to get hit. So if he's going to try to do the same thing, it may work for a few seconds, but we made Tristan Vines, whatever that dude's name is, we booed him until he got knocked out, and that's just the fact of the matter. If he was gonna play the outside like that, you're gonna have to get in there at some point and take one shot, dude. Like, but
Yeah, I mean, I give the guy credit for having the stones to take the fight, but
yeah.
I mean, Gautier is next up. I mean, this is just really just no two ways about it in my book.
Speaking of next up, I don't know if anybody expected this. This is really, really funny, though. We have the rematch between Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopez. Now, did anybody expect this? No, not even Diego Lopez. But why did they do this? Hear me out. Here's my reason why they did this, and then I'll let you go. They know, they have data, they have information, they have analytics based on what Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopez can draw to a card, right? That they've already done it. Now, going into Paramount, why risk putting them up against somebody like Larone, who's not that big of a draw, somebody like Mosvar, who's a decision merchant, whatever you want to say? Diego Lopez, though, you build a rematch. I mean, you know what you're going to get, and then some, hopefully now. So I think opening the Paramount deal with that kind of is really good. So
I mean, well, there's that. That's you had me up until that very last sentence because I was like, everything you're saying makes perfect sense as to why they're doing it, but does it make it right? No. I mean, I think that what you're doing is kind of smacking the fans in the face a little bit with this because obviously they're wanting a big splash for the Paramount deal. Like you said, all what you said is correct. Is it good? I definitely don't think so. And as a fan and part of this community, I think that all of us are kind of like the ones that you should like you shouldn't be trying to entice people in that way. Seems like a dumb move to me, because it's like, you're not like, maybe people know Volk a little bit outside of the sport. Diego Lopez, like, Volk is going to be the draw of that fight to people who are not already fans, in my opinion. Like, Diego is not a big enough name outside of the sport. Like, it's just, he's not. I mean, we know him. We're fans of the sport. I guarantee you that somebody who's not an MMA fan is not going to hear Diego Lopez be like, man, I'm going to sign up for Paramount Plus. Like, so if Volk was already the draw, why don't you give the fans the fight that makes sense and then let Volk carry the fight? Like, I mean, even if it is Mofsar or Armin or whoever it ends up being, like, I mean, like, or not Armin, but whoever the other the other potentials are there. Regardless of the other name, Volk is the only one, and even Volk probably does not have that big of a draw outside of the sport. So I just think this is a dumb play on their part. Like, you're pissing off the people who are your core audience, and probably not going to build that big of a new audience based on this, is what I'm saying.
The flaw that I don't get here, everything else makes sense. Is okay, you know what you get. You're going to take it to Paramount, hopefully pull the same amount, if not more. That makes sense. The only thing that is the flaw here, and like you're saying, Alexander Volkanovski is the draw. So to get attention to the heel, to the person that's the opposition here, whatever you want to say, you would think they would get Lerone, who speaks English. Like, he can at least have like a battle on the mic at the presser with him. Diego Lopez is just going to sit there and tip his hat. Like, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's plenty of other ways to make the fight get sold and to try to bring people in off of it. Like I said, Alexander Volkanovski is one of the most dominant champions that we've had in this sport. Like, he, you can build the promos off of that. You can sell the fight. This organization has been selling fights for 35 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what they do. Like, you don't have to do it this way to try to broaden the audience. I think it's an odd misstep. And I mean, compared to also the interim championship that we just talked about as well earlier, earlier in the announcement. So this is not a wise decision, in my opinion.
What's funny is, you talk about selling fights, the company sells fights. That's not true. I think, excuse me, hold on. We've been in really a bad phase of the company not selling the fights. Like, the fights that we've been needing, we haven't gotten. And I can actually, Leon and Jorge Masvidal or whatever, we had them backstage trying to fight each other, and we never got that. I don't think. I could be wrong. Check me. And then you go back to I had more options here, but Diego and Yair, we just had recently them at the presser. They, and this is a good bridge that I'm getting into. I'm like thinking for more examples off the top of my head. Sugar Sean and Cody Garbrandt, things like these. We had moments like these where the company didn't actually sell the fights. It was the people themselves, that they didn't give us the fights that we should have got. And hence what we got right here. The company gave the fights that we didn't need, and we got people selling the fights themselves. And we probably won't end up getting this either. But here is Lerone sharing screenshots to his Twitter, where he is just insinuating that Mosvar is not undefeated because, and then you have pictures of him, quote unquote, beating him in the gym or whatever happens here. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of thoughts about this. Of course, obviously with this, we're doing a cursory overview of all of this stuff. So all the fights that we just talked about, all the announcements and stuff, trust we will be getting into those more in future streams and whatnot. So don't think that we're just going to touch on those and then walk away. Like, they're going to get a lot of discussion, I promise you, because I got a lot more opinions about that interim championship as well. But as far as this goes, actually, real quick before that, did want to also shout out the Tasteful Thickness earlier. Appreciate you for checking in, brother, and CTE in the chat as well. Appreciate all y'all hanging out with us tonight. That being said, as far as Lerone Murphy here, what I had said about this is that this is a really great way to torpedo your goodwill with the fan base, especially with what we were just talking about, how there are people outside of the sport that they're trying to bring in. That's one thing, but people who actually follow this sport, there are two things that you just did here. One, you broke the cardinal rule. I mean, everybody knows that you don't post gym footage. It's not a good representation of what could happen in fights anyway. So I think it's always kind of dumb to try to hang your hat on it. But also, it's vulnerable times that are not supposed to be public knowledge. Like, the fact that this was even filmed in general is a little bit sketch, but you don't do that. This is a very bad way to try to generate some hype for yourself. That's one. Two, why he's doing this is because he's being a little bit of a crybaby here. I mean, like he's angry that he didn't get the title shot, so he's kind of lashing out in any way that he can. Probably had this, queued up in the back pocket for whenever he felt it was right to toss it out there, and this is just when he does it. So again, it's a double whammy of you looking like a crybaby and a scumbag both at the same time. I'm a Lerone Murphy fan. I kind of think a little bit differently about him now.
I'm a Lerone Murphy fan. I'm not less of a fan of him because of this. I think it is genuinely hilarious because it started out with him. He's mad at Mosvar here, and it's like, what Mosvar do? Like,
Exactly. That's
I've
again another misstep of it.
I've still been wondering what Mosvar did to deserve this random stray. He's like, all right, I can't get the fucking belt. Well, that dude fucking sucks right there. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he sucks. He sucks. Like, where's my title shot? And and Diego posted on Instagram, and it was a picture of him smiling. It was like, I'm smiling. Keep working and quit asking for a title fight, and maybe you'll get somewhere. So, something like that.
Which is the right way to handle it, considering that it was gifted and fell out of the sky and into his lap. So all you do is just smile and nod and say, "Okay, I'm gonna fight."
Yes, boss. Yes, boss.
Exactly.
But either way, I think also when it comes to training, I've seen plenty of training clips of people who are being assholes in the gym, or like not even just that. It's like you're training a specific like technique, and it's like you can there's an example of like it might have been Justin Gaethje. I actually don't think it was Justin Gaethje, but either way, he was training hitting the pads, and then he ends up like the coach does like misses the pad or whatever, and he hits the coach or whatever. It's things happen. Missteps happen. They could have been training some drill or whatever, and he kicked him in the head, and he was supposed to block. Whatever the case may be. So him showing this, it is like super salty. Like, why the hell did Mosfar have to get strayed like this? It's crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely that's what I'm saying. It's like these kinds of things, like if you follow the sport, you know that there's all kinds of things happen in the gym. Like that's
Yeah.
why footage is generally not shared. I mean,
A piano could have literally fell on this dude.
of course,
Like,
dude, we saw Kevin Lee get dropped in
yeah,
training
right.
recently. We saw fucking Vinicius Oliveira coming out being like a real scumbag to one of his teammates recently as well. It's like this is asshole behavior the way they like doing this. This is not a good look. And I mean, as far as the fighters go, I would think that amongst the community, like this is a cardinal sin kind of deal. Like, so, us as fans, it's one thing, but like within the fighters, like the fighters themselves, their community, like I would think people are being like, yeah, dude, fuck this guy. Like, get the hell out of here with this kind of tactic. But you are right. It is very odd that it had to be Mozart. It's an odd way to lash out based on not getting what you think you deserve and want. Like that's the big part of this. I keep going back to the crybaby element of it because I think that it is valid. Like this is a dumb lashing out in a childish way that does not make you look good in any way that you slice it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of him being on Twitter every day asking for a title shot and complaining that he hasn't gotten it. Dude, you beat Aaron Pico. I mean, at the end of the day, like, we could have argued a couple months ago that you could have got it, but like, bro, this dude literally knocked out Jean Silva. Like, he had all the hype in the world and finished him, left him a bloody mess. You beat Aaron Pico, good, but that dude has never had a UFC win. Like,
Yeah,
it's
barely
this.
skated by on Dan Ige.
The same reason we couldn't give Umar a title shot after he beat Beksat is the same reason we can't give you a title shot after you beat Aaron Pico. I mean, it's just you have to beat somebody that means something. And this is, going back to my original point, this is a fight being sold right here. We could have Mosfar and Lerone, but the UFC probably is never going to give that fight to us. That's the crazy part.
Perhaps, and then going back to one of my earlier points too, it's like the organization is going to do what they want. So you complaining about it and kicking up dust over it, you do yourself no favors with this behavior. Like this is, you think that the UFC sees this and then they're gonna say, "Oh man, we were wrong. Yo, switch that up." You know what I mean? It's like you're not ingratiating yourself to anybody with this.
Yeah. Well, so either way, this was an interesting situation, and I think that might round up maybe a couple things that might be our UFC news for the week. Is there anything that you would like to say regarding the UFC? Because there's one last thing that kind of just wraps up everything. But if you have anything to wrap up with your UFC news of the week, anything you want to go back to before we move on?
Not if we're not talking about the announcement and the that interim title announcement. I mean, like that, I'm just I'm very perplexed by it. Obviously, we did talk about Ilya and his situation there, but for two guys who basically Michael Chandler is their biggest recent win. Like, it just seems like such an odd matchup for the title. I know that Justin Gaethje had been asking for it, and he's out there saying that he's going to retire if he doesn't get the title shot and all that. So you kind of throw the bone to the company man there, and Justin Gaethje, a good company man, if you go back and trace his history with the organization. So I think that there's a lot that like is accomplished internally with that. But as far as the outsiders' view of it, I mean, like, I don't even know. I guess England cares, like, sure, your England contingency is going to be happy that Paddy's in the fight. Aside from that, I don't think that anybody really thinks, man, that is a great title fight.
Yeah, well, it's a great interim title fight. I mean, these are two great fighters, dude. I mean, this is Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. I mean, what can you say? I mean, I understand Paddy Pimblett's best win again is Michael Chandler so far, but Islam got his title shot after beating Bobby Green, and Paddy already did that 2 fights ago.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I get it. I don't know. Where's Armin?
look, I actually think that's a funny thing is that's the funniest part of the equation here is Armin gets left out and he gets to wait until all of this is settled. And that's honestly the best fucking karma to him. Like that he thought he definitely thought that he was gonna get his shot. Like, oh, I'm right in line. Here we go. I'm gonna go fight Ilya. It's like, nope. Sorry, pal. Now you get to just choose if you want to fight, or you can sit around and wait, and you're not going to get it if you do that. So
Yeah, and literally right after I said just that, you kind of brought it all into perspective of basically saying the exact same things that I was saying earlier. That it's like, you know what, this is exactly karma. This is exactly what he deserves. And I'm really, it's not even about Armin specifically. My point is that, like, there is a bigger equation that probably could have had a better seating with this than what we're getting here. And again, you say, it's Justin Gaethje, and yeah, he's an exciting fighter at times, but this is 2025 Justin Gaethje, on the verge of retirement Justin Gaethje. We just saw Dustin Poirier get a title shot before his retirement. Like, saw how that went. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the dynamics of it are not great. I think hopefully it's an entertaining fight again, as the flagship first fight, first big promotion for the Paramount deal. That's what we're hoping for.
So to round out what you are saying here, we have the Dana White privilege list. Okay, so we got Michael Chandler at
Huh.
number 1. We got Paddy Pimblett at 2, Sugar Sean at 3, John Jones 4, Diego Lopez 5. I think honorable mention here. I'm not sure why they didn't get Justin Gaethje in here. That actually would have made
Definitely.
sense at probably number 1. The oppression list for Dana White. Armin Sarukian, of course,
Deserved.
obviously, yes. Mozar for no reason, just
Yeah,
no
that
reason at all. Only 'cause he's
entirely
boring.
undeserved. Yeah.
He's
It's that boring fight style is the only thing you can say.
Aljamain probably because he runs his mouth a little too much on Twitter. There's probably a reason for Aljo, but either way.
Yeah, boring. Also, the acting job for the title win. And all,
True, yeah, Larone. It's because he's just becoming he's just becoming a nuisance. He's becoming just like I'll get to you when it's your time, but if you just keep saying stuff about it, I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm really excited to go actually like clean my room, and it's like, will you go clean your room? It's like, well, I was, obviously I'm a little too old for that. That's a little dated reference here, but
But no,
you get
yeah,
the
I mean,
point.
I get the point. Yeah, absolutely. It makes you're squeaking too loud. They say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but not in this case. I mean, you're drawing too much attention to yourself unnecessarily.
Now here's the key one: Muhammad Mokaev is at 5 on the ops list, but he's at 5. He's slowly coming off it, guys. He's slowly coming off it.
He deserves to be number 1.
Well, but Armin has definitely done. He's earned his spot there. Armin deserves it. Mosvar, it's like unwarranted, but hey, what can you say? Boss man don't like you. Muhammad though, Dana's gonna forget about you. But for early 2026, you'll be fighting Josh Van for his first title defense. I got you.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I've said about Movsar multiple times at this point, it should have been Armin who got his treatment and was, jettisoned from the promotion for killing a pay-per-view. But the other thing is, it's like, shit or get off the pot when it comes to bringing this guy back already. I feel like they have been like really, really cock teasing this dude. Like,
Yeah.
he's talking about how he's out there, he's getting wins, decent, good looking wins out in other promotions over there in Brave. And he's got Hunter Campbell texting him before and after the fight. It's like, bro, like, are you gonna bring me back or not? Stop. It's like an ex-girlfriend who breaks up with you and then is like constantly hitting you up. Like, yo, I mean, what do you want to do here? What are we actually doing?
True. Yeah. Very, very, very funny. I'll tell you that. And so this is obviously a very funny tweet that this person made. Actually, you know what? We'll just go ahead and like that real quick.
For sure. And I
Now,
also wanted to highlight CTE coming in saying that Peyton Talbot, also somebody who probably is on the privileged list. There's a couple of guys that are like early on in their career that I think is like, it's questionable whether you'd put them on this kind of a list, though. You know what I mean? Because it's like, there's a difference between hot shotting and Dana White privilege, I would say. Like, for some of these guys that they're trying to build into the next wave of stars, they have to like
Dana
maneuver
White
them a little.
privilege is more or less you get your fucking way every single time over these people, and it's crazy because Dana is a stern. He's blunt. He's not the one to get over on. But Michael Chandler clearly has like videos of something that Dana White is doing, or like I don't know, bro.
I mean, that was the speculation with John Jones, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, no, it's true. I think that this list is pretty okay. I'm okay with pretty much almost everything on here.
Okay, so to recap, what the current state of the UFC is. Ilya Taporia locked up with Justin Gaethje and Patty Pimblett until 2026. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Hamzat is out of action until quarter 1, mid 2026. Awesome. Volkan Diego Lopez rematch. Murphy and Mosvar won't get a shot until late 2026. Okay, UFC heavyweight champion is at home wearing an eye patch. Funny but true. Like,
Lol.
where is this dude at? Like, that's the crazy. I told you that's the sad part about this, and I feel like I'm I'm too smart for my own good sometimes. I told you this has to be the worst eye poke ever. It has to be the worst eye poke ever. He has to still be blind from it for it to warrant him not continuing that fight. And
Nah, bro, he did his media tour to give you all of the updates like he's played that part of his hand already. Now he has to fade into the background for a couple more weeks, months, whatever, until he can finally start poking his head back out.
either way, next thing, Kamaru Usman possibly getting a title shot against Islam, which is very true. And then the last point here, and nothing else said, nothing else to be said. Just
That's fucking funny.
Jailton Almeida, man. Jesus
Oh, poor
fucking Christ.
Charlton.
Yeah, the kid can't fight, man. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you know
Oh,
this.
DC Duncan for no reason. Another guy catching strays.
Yeah, very, very, very funny. I mean, that is just the recap. That is the UFC recap of this week. We have a little bit more to go into, but specifically the UFC portion of the show that is recapped.
Well,
So
I mean,
go
so
ahead.
from this, like, I mean, yeah, this paints kind of a less than satisfying picture of the current landscape. I would say. I think that there's,
Paramount looking great.
yeah, well, right. That's the craziest part about it to me. That's kind of where I was leading with it. It's like all of those things are as they are, and as I said, less than satisfying to the fan base, to the people who are going to be following you, not only following you to this new service, but most likely canceling on a different service. So it's like you are taking business from one entity and putting it into another. That in and of itself is valuable. So it's like you're already doing great things for this new organization just inherently by being with them. But this is the state. It's like buying a new car and like you take it off the lot and the interior is all screwed up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's like every scratches in the seat and all the leather's messed up and all that kind of stuff. It's like, why are you not giving us the Cadillac that we know we could be getting when that was what the people who bought you were thinking they were getting?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, what can you say? It's a 7-year investment, so you got to assume that you can't have the best of the best at the beginning. And also another thing that I instantly thought of when you started speaking about it, it's like the UFC can only play the cards that are dealt. They can't just have the biggest superstars in sports entertainment history. Not everybody's that big draw. Like the UFC is still relatively speaking growing and very small compared to things like the NBA, the NFL, football, soccer, we're still in the midst of becoming something very, very large. And Paramount is just probably still one of the first bigger steps towards that. So we'll see what
Well,
happens.
and yeah, and I mean, and that does raise interesting questions in a number of avenues. It's two things to me. One, being that as it may be, with the household name element of some of these people not being very large just yet, how much of this is them trying to build stars? Because you're saying, it's like we all know that that interim title fight is probably not the right move necessarily, but it's like if Patty goes out there and gets a huge win, or Justin too. I mean, either way, it can go either way on that. If either of them gets an amazing performance, knockout win, that type of thing, does that build a star out of it for people who might not have been fans of the sport already? That's number one. Number two, also you gotta realize here, without pay-per-view incentive, they have to spread out the talent in a different way. Like you will, yes, you're going to get like the marquee fights still, I would think, but like the incentive is different. Like I would think that, and we're going to have to find out all of this. This is my speculation, but my speculation would be that, like, I don't think you're going to get as many cards like a 300. Now, 300 is maybe a little bit of an outlier in general, but like a card
Mate, the White House is coming up.
well, okay, again, another outlier. But like my point is that like in your regular numbered events going forward, now that there is no pay-per-view to it, it wouldn't surprise me if you get a banger title fight as like your main event. You might be getting numbered events without title fights at some point. Like I'm that would be kind of crazy, but it could happen. My point is that you have a like the incentive is gone now for pay-per-view points and for them to be loading these cards up with like crazy high quality fights because they don't have to sell pay-per-views anymore. I don't have to put two title fights on one card anymore because I can put it across all of these other events that we have that's all included with this package that they're not paying a premium for anymore. So I'm just, again, it's all speculation as to how that's going to play out, but I would speculate, I would posit that there is going to be some shakeup to that because of a lack of pay-per-view incentive. If there's no more that I have to sell this specific card, I've already saw your price of entry has been paid with your subscription. So you get everything now. Why would I front load anything?
Yeah, I definitely listen. I'm hearing you. It's going to be an interesting state of the UFC that we're going to witness. We're in a new era. This is the paramount era of the UFC. Times change. Things are going to be different. We're going to see how it goes. I mean, it's the first year. It's not going to be. I mean, listen, we might not even be able to fucking watch the shit like at high quality for the first couple of months or whatever. It might be laggy. It might kick it off. Who knows what's going to happen. So
That would
let's
be a
just
major
pray.
misstep if that was the case.
Let us just pray for good quality fights. And who cares who gets in the cage? Because anybody has the possibility to make it a good fight.
Well,
It's
and actually, to that point, I did want to highlight CTE coming in again, saying, "What are the odds on Esteban Ribovics ending up on this card for his guaranteed entertainment value?" This card, other card, whatever it may be, he's a perfect example of a person. What I was just talking about with building stars, you might get an entire card based around him. He might be a main event fighter at some point. Maybe a fight night to start him off since he's still relatively early, in his ascension. But that's a great example of a fighter that could be one of those future stars that they're trying to build up within this new ecosystem. So the ecosystem has to be like put into place first. We got to get a lay of the land, and then we'll find out if people like Ribovics and some of these other up and coming guys are going to be on these cards.
not to make a big rant about it, but Ribovics is one of these dudes that you could literally look back to his last fight and he's in the fucking apex. It's fucking ridiculous what the UFC is doing to him. I don't get it. He's one of the most exciting fighters that they have out of Argentina. They could have an Argentina card right now and he could be on it and they just won't. I don't know.
And,
Whatever.
well, this and goes back to what we were. I mean, really, this tweet that's on screen right now is kind of telling the story. I mean, like there's a lot of ways that things could be going, and we don't know all of the back dealings as well. There's probably a lot of million different reasons why things shake out the way that they do that we're not privy to. But like the things that seem logical are not the things that are happening currently, and that's where I think the disconnect is for a lot of fans.
And if anybody needs to remember one more time, Jailton Almeida. Nothing else
Uh,
said. Nothing
yeah.
else.
I mean,
But
unless you're DC, you got a lot to say then.
true. But again, now officially, anything left because our UFC wrap up can be done because there's some really pressing matters that we have to get into. This is technically UFC news, but it's former UFC news.
All right, well, fire away.
Fire away, chat. Are you guys ready for this? Connor is back on Twitter and he went through some crazy experiment down in Tijuana, Mexico. Whatever Ibogaine treatment is, he saw it on a Netflix documentary and he had to go do it. I'm not going to read this fucking Harry Potter novel here, but you can see he clearly went on a tangent. Either way, what do you think about this? What do you think about Connor being back, new and improved once
Yeah,
again?
just the very short TLDR cliff notes of all of this. Apparently, Connor had some like ayahuasca esque kind of spiritual enlightenment awakening thing in Mexico. He saw Jesus, who gave him a crown, and he had like this epiphany of sorts. Whatever he's
Did it
in
look
a
like AI? I wonder if he just saw a fucking video of AI and that was what he saw.
they just like beamed it into his head,
Yeah.
maybe that's what the therapy is, who knows. It could have very well been he saw himself as like an old man and stuff. It was like a whole big like life cycle type of thing that he had, as again I liken it to ayahuasca because that's what it sounded like to me, very similar to what you'd hear from one of those kind of things. um more Connor in this. What I had said about it is that have you ever seen Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox movie? Very
Where
funny
he
movie if you
did he
haven't.
cut him in half?
Cut him in half.
Okay, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
So it's like a parody of like biopics of like musical biopic movies or whatever. It's the dude from Step Brothers is in it. But
John C. Riley.
yes, Riley, exactly. Yeah, he's the main character in it. But like he goes through all these like phases, and these are all phases like that were like pulled from other like biopic movies. But there's a part in it at the like towards the end where he's like working on his masterpiece album, and he's like kind of going crazy in the studio. It's like this whole big production or whatever. Like it kind of reminds me of like that movie in a way where it's like you get all of these like phases of his life, and this is like the Beatles hanging out with the Vishnu guy kind of deal. He's with like spiritual enlightenment people and all this kind of stuff. Connor goes through all of these different iterations of being the same character in different segments of his life.
See, you must not have seen the movie. I know more about it because Nav was here to back me up. His
Oh,
brother got
word.
cut in half by a machete. To be fair, I thought it was a saw. I thought he sawed him in half or
I
something.
forgot that. I forgot that is true. Yes, that did happen in that movie. You are correct. My bad. My
Yes,
bad. I
thank you.
apologize.
You made me feel crazy. Either way, because like I knew that was a crazy. I'm like he cut him in half. I don't know why I thought about that, and then you made me feel crazy. Either way, so
My
Conor
bad.
McGregor. No, it's
Wasn't
fine.
intentional.
Conor McGregor is not crazy. I want to note one thing after I read a little bit of this. He got to see Fatima Klein in his
Oh, yes,
yeah.
the Archangel. Yeah, I love it.
So
Well, you said he's not crazy. I mean, Connor is crazy. Let's not go too out
he's
of left field
fucking
here.
sick, bro. So
I
either
mean,
either way, I don't know if you take it as a good thing or a bad thing. The next thing I'm going to show you is proof to me. When I think about proof that Connor has changed, he's a changed man. He's new. He's new and improved. This is what I think about. I think about how dedicated he is to his craft. We have went non-alcoholic.
oh.
Stouts get fucking wrecked. You fucking good dude. Just come on.
Well, I mean, as a person who does not partake anymore, I'm interested. Honestly, I gotta maybe I'll give it a shot.
You got to. I mean, I don't know if you want to be the one supporting the person who owns the business, but
Facts.
this is certainly an option for you goers out there who want your zero point zero non-alcoholic enjoyers, your Irish forged stout. There's your promotion. Use promo code I don't have one. So there you go.
Yeah, well, and then we ain't getting paid yet. So Connor, I mean, in your new enlightened state, if you want to throw the sponsorship deal over to Yama, this is a perfect. This could really be some brand synergy right here. Yama X Stouged Fort or Forged Stout, whatever.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But this is just another little fun little noteworthy news article that is just funny with his stout mustache here. It's
He's a whole new.
comical.
He's a changed man, brother. He's a whole new Connor. We were hearing about this at the BKFC press conference that he's enlightened and saved. He's now gone through this other spiritual awakening. I mean, this dude is going through epiphany after epiphany over here. He's going to be unlocking the full potential of his brain like Limitless soon.
Yeah, and actually, so before I get into this next article, because I think it's going to spring just a whole new topic, I would like to shout out 111 Come Down.
Yes.
John Silva destroys Arnold Allen. I've decided that that is not what happens. Arnold Allen is too much of a Chad to let that. He's just gonna walk him down with arrogance and confidence and brutality. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Diego Lopez did the same thing, and I know Arnold Allen is not Diego Lopez. I agree with you on that, but I think you just gotta John Silva. Listen, some people would call him a porch puppy, doing all that barking. I don't think he's gonna be the one to back it up when Arnold Allen's across from him. But I digress. If you have anything to note right there, we'll have a discussion. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, just based on what we're talking about with that, I mean, Arnold Allen is a guy. You talk about brutality. I just never see that out of Arnold Allen. I see a dogged fighter. He's definitely a dude who goes out there and tries to brawl, but I just don't think that he's yeah, like I like Arnold Allen the person more than I like Arnold Allen the fighter. And I think that there's a reason for that, you
You
know?
know what? I can't help myself. Nav, you're so smart, dude. He cut his brother in half was a reference to Johnny Cash's real brother who died from a sawmill accident, possibly because of Johnny.
Never should have brought this movie up. God damn it. We're getting
Yeah.
derailed over here, but yes, that is all very true. Great. Walk Hard. Classic comedy film. Go back and read. I got it on the big shelf over here. Maybe I'll go give it a watch after
To
this.
be fair, the fact that John C. Riley is in it, one doesn't surprise me. I wouldn't have known that off the top of my head. You said the Step Brothers guy, and I'm like, oh, it has to be John C. Riley. It's not fucking Will Ferrell, you know. But John C. Riley's got some bangers, guys. I mean, he's a Broadway guy. I'm pretty sure too.
Oh, you're talking about his sing. He's got a great singing voice. He's a like actually really good, like legitimate dramatic actor on top of it. And he's also Dr. Steve Brule from Check It Out on Adult Swim, dude. Another absolute classic of absurdist comedy. So yes, big fan of him. And yeah, he's actually got an album coming out. It might already be out of like classic like crooner style songs. So yeah, I forgot his name in the moment, but trust I know a little bit about my boy John C. Riley, and he is an OG.
Yeah, nice. Love to hear it. Well, speaking of the OGs,
Yes.
and when I say OGs, obviously I'm not talking about in the fight game. I'm talking about when it comes to oil. We got the Saudis, and they're coming to get. They're getting fucked apparently because the money is just getting destroyed. I mean, they're slowly going downhill. Reporters claiming investment funds are running low on cash. You know, I they've been making some bad investments, and we'll talk about one specific here in a second. But is there anything you want to note about this right here?
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean, yeah, you say the OGs, these are the oil gangsters.
Oh, nice.
But yes, no. So this was an interesting one to me. This is one that I specifically brought to the show when I heard about this. Now, this was posted in the rumor mill because we don't know if this is 100% true or not. This is just something that came across my desk, and I thought it was interesting to note based on how it could affect things. Because what this is basically saying is that if you recall, Riyadh season. I'm sure you've been seeing Riyadh season all over the place. If you remember the Sphere, the Noche UFC, very big event that we had, Riyadh season prominently footing the bill for a lot of that. That was like a $3 million investment or something like that, just off of that. That was all off of Riyadh season making that happen. So I mean, the point of this is that basically all of those events and everything that Turkey Al Sheikh has been doing, like this all comes from the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which is partially a tourist initiative to try to bring a little bit more of a better reputation to the country. You may have heard about the Riyadh Comedy Festival if you're a comedy fan and know all of the way that has rocked the comedy world. This all comes from the Public Investment Fund, which is to raise the profile of the country. Well, what this is saying here is that apparently the Public Investment Fund is starting to run a little bit low on cash because, we always just think that Saudi Arabia with their oil money is just an infinite money glitch, that they just have an unlimited
They just
amount of
keep
funds.
digging for it, dude. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, apparently, there's only so much digging that you can do. And I mean, I'm sure that they still have plenty, but the point is that like you spend as much as they're spending, eventually it's going to catch up with you like anything else. I mean, so that's basically what this is all kind of coming down to, is that they're going to be pulling back a little bit because you got to think about how wide of a range this has gone through. This is not only the UFC investment in portions pieces here. This is also the PFL that they have a major stock in. This is also boxing they had a lot of money pumping into, the purses in boxing. I mean, these are multi-million-dollar
This
deals
would
there.
include the Zufu boxing too, right?
Yes, well, that as well, absolutely, yeah. Boxing through Zuffa and outside of it, they were involved with Terrence Crawford's
Usyk.
previous fight and Usyk as well. Yeah, so I mean, not the Netflix and the Zuffa boxing one, the TKO boxing, but Terrence Crawford's fight before that. I think that was at the LA Forum, the big stadium out there or whatever. Like they've been had their hand in a bunch of boxing stuff there too. They announced that they were involved in that movie with oh my god, Zack Snyder. Remember we were talking about the Zack Snyder movie that they
True.
announced?
Oh yeah, that's coming out after a while. We get to review that, buddy boy.
This elephant never forgets, brother. Trust. But that's my point is that
You
they
forgot
that
Holly Berry's movie. It's okay.
I forgot John C. Riley, and I didn't forget
That,
Holly Berry's movie. I'll
yeah.
never forget Bruised. Are you kidding me?
No, I don't know. At the time, you weren't really sure that you remembered that it came out. You were like, "Oh, I kind of okay, I know about this," but
Oh,
you
all
weren't
right, whatever. You catch me in the moment. It takes a second sometimes. I'm a
fair.
little bit older, but either way, the point is that this could be a bit of a shakeup when it comes to combat sports because them drawing the reins in on the money. Who knows where that manifests itself? The PFL has been announcing a couple of things that I think we're going to talk about in a minute here. Like it's just going to be interesting to see if this is true, where the drawback of the cash ends up coming because they were spending very heavily, and where's the return on investment, I guess.
Bro, the last line of this here says the golden run we've been watching might not last forever. Oh God, if this is the fucking pinnacle of what we've had, Jesus, Lord have mercy, we are screwed.
I mean, well, again, think about the amount of investment in the ones that we did have. Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. That was a huge event. I don't know if you actually watched any of that production. It wasn't just the boxing. They made an entire. All of these boxing cards are like it, where it's a boxing event, but it's also a concert, and it's also a podcast, and it's also a giveaway of cars. It's like they had the boxing ring rose up from like it was like a platform that rose up from the
No, it
ground.
didn't,
My
bro.
brother, go
Golly.
back and watch this shit. If you think I'm capping on this, bro, I'm telling you, it was a ridiculous spectacle. A lot of what they do is spectacle based. So you're talking about massive amounts of money that are being thrown into these things. If it goes without saying that the purse strings would eventually start drying up, start tightening up.
Yeah. Well, the next article that I have, and to give you a little heads up, chat, so you better get ready to talk about some stuff. This is the last thing the last article that I have to bring up. It coincides with this. PFL, part of the, I with the Saudis, I not necessarily linked to them. PFL isn't a portion with them. They're getting new TV deals and they're getting rid of the tournament format, So will this affect something with us with the Riyadh season? Who knows? I don't know, but maybe there was specifically things that they wanted to do with the tournament and they were going to, put money into some sort of it. But what do you think about this portion?
Well, this is something that came out earlier this month. I don't know how this did not come across my feed here from the beginning of the month, but when I found out about it, I was very intrigued because PFL for the longest time has had the tournament system. And now going away from that, plus the fact that they took down the purse for the tournament initially, so we were talking about them drawing back money from the Saudis. I mean, I think that there's a definite connection here, at least the way that it looks from the outside. You've got the purse going from $1 million to $500,000. Now they're getting rid of the tournament altogether. They've been shaking up the PFL left and right since the Bellator merger. It's like, I just don't think the PFL has a solid game plan. And then you add in the fact that the Saudis have been burning through cash. Where again, I bring it back to the same point. Where's the return on investment? Eventually, if the Saudis' whole initiative was to gain a better exposure, then they're going to get whatever they got out of that, and that's just going to have to be it. There's really, you can only quantify that by the more tourism in the country, et cetera, et cetera. But when it comes to actual investments like PFL, where it's like I'm giving you money and I want money back in return, I don't think that they've gotten nearly that out of that. I mean, Francis Ngannou fleecing them has been a big. We talked about that last week. So I mean, there's a lot of different elements at play here, and I think that the chickens are coming home to roost for PFL is what it's looking like to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. It sucks to see, but if this was the golden run, certainly there's better things to come because this was not necessarily the greatest that we could have ever seen, I would say.
Brother,
I mean,
we got Noche, bro.
oh, true. God, golly, we did get Noche, and honestly, What a banger of a card. We got it in the Sphere. Shout out to us for getting a one-time thing, I guess, because that, Dana loves to do this. Oh no, well, we're not going to do that again. It was a spectacle. We're going to go to the White House. It's because it's a one-time thing. Like, we're going to run out of venues here soon, or they're going to have to renovate because the Sphere, we're gonna have to repurpose it at some point. Like, there can only be so many fucking observatoriums and that shit. Like, let's fucking go.
MMA on the moon. We already talked about it, But either way, I mean, no, but this is the point of what I was saying about the spectacle element of things. The Saudis go above and beyond for these things, and like, there's again, it seems like an infinite pool of money, but if you really go and break it down, like, there's only so much cash, even for the wealthiest people in the world. So I think that somebody in the Saudi accounting department finally said, "Hey guys, you need to start reining this in a little bit. We're bleeding through money left and right, and yeah, it's fun that we're getting cool fights, but like, where's the comeback off of that?"
Yeah, it is going to be an interesting. I mean, because presumably, not presumably, it's the wrong word, but we've had this sort of shift. We kind of went through an era where we had the Saudis leading a lot of. Riyadh season was heavy. Like, that was a known thing to a lot of people that just kind of showed up out of nowhere. Now they're probably just gonna fade off into the distance. They'll come in with their billions of dollars, spend them really quick on a bunch of fighters that nobody cares about. You're going to give Rodrigo Nascimento, De Lima, whatever these dudes' names are, $1 million to show up and fight in the PFL, and then you're going to run yourself out of money. You know, who cares? At the end of the day, you'll probably just be forgotten, and we'll just remember the time that, like, yeah, there was a bunch of people who fought like shit and got paid a bunch of money. Like, so.
Well, I mean, and that just goes to the backwards nature of how PFL was looking at running this thing in the first place. This Don Davis is going to go down in history as one of the worst leaders in MMA, I would say. And I really like, I hate to say that because I don't think that he's a bad guy. And I think under different circumstances, he probably has a good business mind. He just does not know how to meld his business mindedness with the sport of mixed martial arts. And when you are in the position that he's in, it's absolutely crucial. That's your whole job, is to do that. So really, I think that there's just been misstep after misstep as far as talent infusion, the way that the Bellator transition happened, the merger of the two of those organizations. To highlight CTE talking about the tournament system, it's not even about the because he's saying that his next comment was saying that you're not going to stand out in a tournament format. Sure, that there's certainly something to that, but there could have
Actually, but
say what.
they could have, to be fair.
That's what I was kind of going with, is that yes, if you have the stars, Dakota Ditcheva has, you know what I mean? Like that. So if you have the stars to do it, then it certainly can be that. The problem is that they have never had a solid game plan for the PFL. And this, what we're talking about right here, throws it into even more out of whack situation, because like now you're going to get these rando cards with just smatterings of fights. It's going to be more akin, because that's what they're saying here. It's time for us to conform. What does conforming look like? Being more like the UFC. What does that look like for them? You do not have a talent roster to rival the UFC. So you're going to have Dakota Ditcheva headlining their pay-per-views, quote unquote, and then you're going to be getting their international cards on Vice TV, a cable network that I've heard has like 30% of the country as their subscriber base. There's exactly, this is what I'm saying. This, like, they have fumbled so much. The Saudis are probably looking at their account sheet like, where is this money going and what are we seeing back? They have fumbled the bag. Francis Ngannou, all of these other things that we've been talking about
Jake
is just
Paul, he's making money, but he's not doing it for the PFL.
Jake Paul. I'm glad you said that. That is another great example of this. Jake Paul coming in, supposedly signing a fight deal with them, never materializing. They got Jake Paul on one promo package, brother. How much money do you think he made off of that? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they ever disclosed what his payout was for this endorsement deal that he did, but I guarantee you it was a pretty penny, because that's how he operates. I give Jake Paul a good amount of credit. A business mindedness. Jake Paul might be a better businessman than Don Davis as far as the fight game goes.
It's definitely, you were, listen, didn't you just repost something about Jake Paul actually spitting some facts?
Dude,
Maybe
I,
you
I've
understand
said
the
it.
fight game.
I've said it time and time again, brother. I have become more and more of a Jake Paul fan when it comes to the fight world. Like over time, I understand why everybody hates him. Trust, I hate him for the same reasons that all y'all do too. But like, I think that if you really trace back everything that he has done for himself, has he done it for the fight world? No. But some of the times the takes like that I just reposted today, he kind of has some good points too. I can't hate the man, bro. I just really can't. I get the bag and do it however you need to do it, and have some base takes on top of it. You're making a fan out of me.
Yeah, he makes stupid amounts of bread, I'm sure. But either way,
And just to wrap it all up, though, that was just a very good example, but an example nonetheless of all of what comes down to with PFL. So with the Saudis pulling the money back, PFL in a perpetual state of not knowing what they're doing. It's just I don't know what the future is looking like for that organization. And then to top it off even more, cherry on top of everything, there has always been the rumors about one championship, how they go through money. There's always been rumblings about the back end of all of that. Now, granted, they seem to have worked all of that out, and it does not seem, at least in the current landscape, that there's any danger of them going out of business or anything like that, which I very much hope does not happen because they have a great product. My point is that like these organizations need to figure it the fuck out if they're going to be a somewhat major player in this field. And what we're seeing with PFL does not bode well for the landscape of the sport. You start seeing PFLs falling off the map, one championship possibly falling off the map, God forbid. You're going to have a monopoly with the UFC that's even worse than what we already have as a monopoly, and that is not good for the consumers. So that's my soapbox.
It's very good for the consumers who have investments in Paramount, because that means everybody's going to start buying their subscriptions to go watch the UFC along with their Nickelodeon, and that's all that I'm really here to talk about. So,
well, buy stock now, I suppose. Then
it is super cheap. I will once again tell you guys to hop on that train. Either way. But yeah, that is the last article that I have for today. I thought this week was it was a little dry, but there was some interesting ones that were going on. Is there anything else you remember off the top of your head?
No, I mean, really, I think that the bombshell on Thanksgiving was really the big news of today. We got a lot of fight news, we got a lot of fight announcements. We went through them earlier in the stream, and a lot of opinions about those. I mean, again, I don't think we want to like necessarily spend the entire wad right now, just because we're going to be talking about those as they come up, of course. But just, I mean, that was a major announcement to get dropped on us, and I mean, another nice way to kind of raise more questions than get answers when it comes to what the the Paramount deal is going to be looking like.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. It's going to be fun. Paramount era is going to be, it's something to keep note of. I mean, everything's going to have, they're going to try to improve the product as much as they can. I'm curious to see if they're going to streamline it even more, what they're going to do to cut it down for the audience. People are clicking on this, and to make them not click away in the time period that you have from fight to fight, that's going to be key. So we'll see, because it's not, with ESPN, it's like they're there for sports. They understand that there's timeouts, there's shit, like they can go to a different sports game and they'll come back. But like when you get on Paramount, I get there's like the football shit that they're going on, but like when you click on the UFC, I feel like it's got to have a different vibe. You can't just be sitting there fucking watching commercials. Like, we got to get the walkouts. Maybe we're gonna finally see Def Rebel, like back when they signed the deal with Def Rebel or whatever, to get these UFC fighters some theme songs. Maybe we're finally going to get that on the Paramount deal, so we can get these licensed songs out of here. We can get some of the walkouts. Like, I don't know.
Perhaps. I mean, yeah, the structure of the actual events itself will be interesting to see the differences. Because like you're saying, I mean, they had a specific amount of time that they were contracted for per event when it came to ESPN, based on blocks of programming, so that it could be slotted into more traditional broadcast outlets. When it comes to this deal with Paramount Plus, like that constraint is not there anymore, or is it? I mean, like that. I guess that's going to be an interesting element of this. Of course, Paramount with the CBS tie-in that we were talking about earlier. Is there going to be the same way that we have UFC on ABC sometimes? Like, are we going to get UFC on CBS or whatever?
Yeah.
And because of that, I only say that to say, like, are we going to have those same time constraints? Do they have to run the broadcast similarly? There's a lot of questions that still remain unanswered. But what we do know is we're getting TKO boxing and power slap with it. So you're going to have to just be very happy about that until we get more information.
I will. I'll be happy about that. I'll do that. Yeah.
Are you gonna be tuning into all those fine power slap events?
If Power Slap comes with my Paramount subscription, I will tell you right now, Dana White, I will watch. So,
are you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've sat down and watched Power Slap. It's pretty it's cavemen, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I also have partaken in the power slap at one point, just to just to see it, just to actually put eyes on the product. It's exactly as advertised, as far as
Yeah,
I'm concerned. I mean,
it powerful slaps. It is the name.
yeah, yeah, most definitely. So, if you're into that sort of thing, I guess I'm more excited about my new Fight Pass subscription. I'm looking forward to
I
possibly
still haven't
watching.
claimed that. Let me actually go do that right now.
There you go. Well, while Chase is doing that, I will say the variety of promotions that you get on Fight Pass is definitely attractive to me. So, it's WoW, it's CFFC, Cage Warriors, Tough Enough. On the compilation that we were watching on the pre-Thanksgiving stream, a lot of them were from Tough Enough, and I was like, Tough Enough is one of those promotions that I know the name of, but I've never actually like delved into very deeply. So keep an eye on the channel, because now that there's the Fight Pass as an offering, at least for the next couple of months, which, knowing me, I'm probably not going to cancel it. So, I might just have Fight Pass for life now. What I have always said, that, if I get Fight Pass, all I'm going to do is watch fights. Well, now perhaps we can watch them together. So, keep an eye and out for some more watch alongs than what you're already getting. Of course, myself and the Vitz King generally doing the UFC watch alongs, which will not change. But
Mhm.
additional offerings perhaps, and if you have Fight Pass, then you can watch along with your boy.
Hell yeah, no, that's definitely a good option. We're always looking for more fights to watch, and obviously more content the better. So if anybody's out there listening and you want more watch along commentaries to watch with your fights, we're the people to come to, because we will definitely be doing that.
That is very, very true. So yeah, speaking of the content, I guess we did a very in-depth review of the film Warrior recently. That is in edited video VOD form now, which is on the channel currently. We got to get those views up, people. Like this was a big project, and if you go and watch that episode of MMA on Film, the series that Chase and I do, you're going to be not only getting our thoughts on the film, but you're going to be getting lots of nice screen grabs to go along with it, to give you the context of the scenes that we're talking about. So, got to go onto the video section of Yamma, go check that video out, give it a watch, let it run. You can kind of do something else. I like to put videos like that on when I'm playing video games. I have it playing, in the side. I can pick up, little bits and pieces of it while I'm gaming. It's a good time.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I can tell you guys that Thinker worked extremely hard to get that done. So you should definitely just go watch it, because if not, it might break his heart, but he's still going to be resilient and continue doing it for somebody out there one day who's going to watch that video and enjoy the screenshots and things that go with it. So be that person tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, do it tonight. So there you go.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And to that end, of course, we are already gearing up for our next installment of MMA on Film. The train never stops around here. So, if you like those, I got a playlist of all the MMA on Film episodes that we've already done. We also did reviews of the Cage television series. So, if you are a fan of MMA related film and television media, visual media, then we are your boys for that. So go back and you can catch up on some of those and keep an eye out for the next one. And you can also influence our opinions about what the next episode will be as far as what we're watching by leaving a comment in the comment section.
Hell yeah. And if you guys are still here right now, make sure to just once again like and subscribe, and leave comments on what you want us to review, obviously with the movies, but going forward, if there's anything else that you would like us to talk about for tonight, if there's anything that we missed, let us know. That if there's any articles that you guys have. I know CTESPN is about to go watch Fazeev and Gaethje. If anybody else is about to go watch Fazeev and Gaethje 1, let us know as well. We
Yeah,
always love the camaraderie.
for sure. We were talking about that in the Discord a little bit earlier. Like I said, we were talking about the eye test in general. I had a
True.
little, tip in the hand just a little bit. I had started formulating the ideas for a video essay, excuse me, a video essay about the importance of finishing fights, because of how optics play such a big role in this sport. And that fight right there is a great example of one, based on what we were talking about, CTE saying that he thought that fight was a little bit closer than some other people might have thought of, but that's a perfectly valid opinion when there is no finish. So, I think that MMA is an interesting beast in that regard, where it's, what I always say about it is that, like, in pretty much every other major sport, you have a goal line, you have a definitive endpoint that your team or you are trying to reach. MMA, it's a more of a sliding scale. So it's very human based, and a lot about small motions, and there's a lot more detail involved in what the decision making looks like for the outcomes of fights sometimes. So the broader point is finish your fights, and the reason why is because this sport is very much based off of the eye test.
100%. Yeah. I mean, ask Mozart. Dana has been grueling him over the eye test. He knows he's boring and he won't give him a title shot for it. So,
I mean, and I also, again, CTE getting a lot of references today, but I think it was him on one of the watch alongs when I think it was during the Islam and Jack Della fight, saying that he values entertainment in his entertainment offerings. You know what I mean? Like this, I think that there is something to be said for that as a paying customer. Assuming everybody is, but either way, the point is that like, when it comes to the whole argument about, because I was actually, it's kind of funny when I told somebody that I cover MMA at this little gathering that I was at, he kind of went into this whole sort of spiel to justify being like, well, I think that people should be okay with all of the wrestling, and like if you don't think that, then maybe you're not as big into the sport. Like he wasn't really like coming at me with it, but just sort of like saying it so that everybody knew how into the sport he was, kind of deal, which was interesting. I don't know how much he watches or whatever, but the point was, it's like I see it from both sides, and that's kind of what I responded with, is that like on the one hand, as a fan of the sport, like I do see the martial arts aspect of all of the ground game and the wrestling and the grappling, and I am impressed by it, and I think it's an integral part of mixing the martial arts. If you don't want that, you can watch different styles of fighting. On the other hand, if you are watching for pure entertainment, it's not explosive. So I get that. You know what I mean? So it's like, to bring it back to your point with Movsar, are we going to just try to deny that there is some legitimacy to saying that he's boring to a lot of people? I think that you're kind of selling it short if you do that,
yeah, I mean, he's not going to be the last person to make wrestling boring. That's all that I'm saying, but he definitely is going to have to get his title shot eventually. I mean, Bilal was in the same boat. So one of these days he'll get his shot, and we'll just have to see if he shows up for it.
Yes, indeed. You are correct about that. And CT also correct about that dude being afraid of being called a casual. Like he was over hardcoring himself in a random conversation, which was very strange considering that MMA had not come up before that point. So
yeah, he just interjected that in there, huh?
Well, once he found out that I had the channel and that, that I cover the sport and stuff, it was like, he's got to be able to hang. And he was a cool guy, though. I mean, I'm not trying to dog on this guy. He was a good dude, but it was just interesting.
And so shout out Nav. Yeah, I did see a picture of Tai Tuivasa. I didn't want to bring it up, but yeah, he did. Well, I didn't want to make it a newsly article like, oh yeah, it looks like him. He actually got off the couch, but
well, what I have not seen this. What was the deal?
It was just him like on a track, like I don't know. Hold on, let's see.
Actually moving his body in a significant way.
I mean, it was a picture. It was
a static image of it. So yeah, I guess it's up for debate. That's pretty. I mean, physique wise for him, that's not bad. It's amazing to me what these big guys actually can get, like the shadows of abs and still be, kind of portly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So a lot of people said that's Jorge Masvidal, but no, it is Tai. Can't confirm. But yeah, this is all Nav was talking about. Yeah, he's just I don't getting his cardio on. Yeah, I guess maybe he was just running. Whatever you want to say.
Well, I mean, he had to cut the weight to get down to that.
True. I mean, I guess maybe fights coming up. Who knows?
I guess it's an interesting question. Do you think any of that kind of thing actually plays any role in him winning a fight at all? Is this physique going to be able to make him stand up from getting taken down?
This is the same physique. I mean, this is just him after just cutting like 5 pounds probably or something, like having like a really good pump day.
Yeah, well, maybe a little bit on the pump, but I mean, like he does look a little bit more defined. I mean, you can see his biceps and stuff like that. Abs are coming in a little bit again.
Oh, CC, are you kind of cooking right here? Is he not saying AI?
Oh, are we getting the AI allegations, brother? You talk about the eye test. This is going to be Brave New World type of stuff. We were not able to know what's AI.
If it's AI, just delete the clip. We didn't get fooled. It didn't happen.
I like that though. Tai with the capital AI.
Nice. Yeah. So if
AI Tuivasa.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But again, I regardless, like I don't. if it is all real, it's like it doesn't change the fact that, I mean, hopefully he is drilling the things that he needs to do to improve in this sport. Getting a better body is not it. That's not that. No one has ever said, "Oh man, if only you were in better shape." Like, no, it's being able to stand up after being taken down.
Yeah, it might be AI, man. I don't know. I feel like bad that we even discussed it. See, this is the problem with the with the internet now. This is why I'm so afraid of the internet, is because they're gonna trick me to look at all these stupid photos that they're gonna be like, no, that's AI, and they'll be like,
Oh, look at the way he wrote it in the bottom. He's saying, "Is there like
yeah,
yeah? Is that what it says at the very
yeah,
bottom there?
the
That
the t-
AI?
the AI, yeah,
Oh,
the
okay. So
top.
maybe it is AI. Yeah, I mean, look, that's going to just be one of those things that you just got to be okay with, bro. Like, we've opened Pandora's box when it comes to AI, and I honestly, I don't even really feel all that bad about being tricked by it for that exact reason. Is that it's like, look, I mean. Do I want to try to be as cognizant of it as possible? Absolutely, I do. But at the same time, there are just going to be things that, you're not going to be able to know.
Yeah, I hear you. So, so that was a little fun little thing that happened with Ty, but who
Yeah.
knows? Anything else, chat? Come on, now let's. There's
Yeah,
got to
we're
be
here
more
for
than
you guys
Ty
at
to
this point.
exhaust
This
them.
is the free for all element of the free for all. So if there are things that you guys have out there that are issues that we did not discuss, or things that we did discuss that you want to come back to, this is what we don't get to do on the podcast. Is be able to just kind of be more free form with it. So, by all means, if you got anything that you want to discuss, let us know.
Where is? So I think it was Tapology. Yeah,
Yeah,
hold
be careful
on.
what you're bringing up on there because with Twitter, you never know what you're gonna be what you're gonna be getting.
True. Let me. Okay, so this is something else that happened that we could talk about. So
Oh,
KSW
yeah,
has a new rule set.
did a whole
Uh,
video on this.
oh, okay. Well, cool. So go ahead and introduce it for us.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so KSW, what I said in another video that you can watch in the video section of the Yama channel, but KSW, fine promotion out of Poland, has made the bold choice to now, for fighters who miss weight, there will, in addition to the standard purse deduction, also be a point deduction. We've talked about, reforms to the rule sets and how to make there being actual, like, legitimate penalties that might make, impactful change in the sport. This would seem to be a step in the right direction here. So, if you come in overweight, basically the structure is similar to how it always is. You try to make weight. If you don't make weight the first time, you get the allotted hour time that you have to try to cut any extra weight that you can. If after an hour you still don't make weight, you lose a portion of your purse and a point going into the first round of the fight.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. I wanted to bring this up for what Tapology said in response to it, but I would actually like to CT ESPN. Figgy is washed, and Umar is going to smoke him. It's 3 rounds, unanimous decision, 30-27, not even close. Maybe
Yeah.
even injures him,
And
probably.
yeah, that's what my point was, that with the amount of explosiveness that Umar has in his takedowns and his wrestling in general, like, I think that if Figgy already had a compromised knee, then the compromise might be the deciding factor in that fight. So
100%. But so the reason I wanted to pull this up as a news portion, I should have had this on hand originally, but Tapology wanted to let everybody know that according to their record keeping policies, they are not allowed to have modifications to the judges' scorecards outside of the match itself.
oh, this is
So
interesting. Yeah, yeah, this could have definitely been a news piece here.
So the scores are going to be honored what the judges say rather than what KSI creates before or after the event to decide the factor.
Well,
Uh,
KSW, KSI is the
oh yes,
the influencer guy. Hopefully,
fair.
he doesn't have any part in this. But no. Anyway, sorry. What? So they're saying, but if the judges have to take those into consideration, then what? Like, don't they just have to go off of that anyway? Like, I mean, do you understand what I'm
So
saying? Like,
I do, but in the same way, I understand what they're saying too. It's like, so before the fight commences, they're going to say he has -1 point, but the judges have to score the fight as what it normally would be, and then they just take that point away from them. So that happens after the fact. That happens after the judges have scored it. So what they officially have to put down is what the judges put. They can't put down any outside factors. And to their point, that does keep it fair. I mean, it keeps it
yeah,
for
no.
reasons like this, I guess. That's why you can't do shit like that.
Well, I mean, but I don't. I'm kind of conflicted on that because the whole thing is that if the organization who is I mean, okay, I think that taking one step back, I specifically did not include it in the video that I made about it because I don't know the specifics. Who is the governing body of KSW? I think is my question. Like, who is their commission, so to speak? Because if they are their own commission, I don't think that tracks. I mean, you got to have some external commission that is governing these things. I don't know how it works in Poland specifically, but the idea would be that, like, if the commission is sanctioning the fights, then the rule set that they have agreed upon can come from either side. I guess this is where it gets a little bit nebulous to me. Is like, who says that it's like, because they're saying, oh, well, the rule set is just going to be what, like, where are they basing their rule set on? Like, where are they getting their information from that saying that, like, we're not going to alter it? Like, is it coming from the unified rules or is it coming from, you know what I mean? Like
No,
who is deciding?
Tapology has just, that's their record keeping policy, is that the judges' score is what the official site will say. So
Right. So they're saying that they're going to honor this is what the end
no,
result is, right?
no,
Well, so then, but that's what I mean. Like, I don't understand how that jives because it's like,
they're not going to honor this new point system because their record keeping policy, to keep everything formal, judges rule. Whatever the judge scores, that's what goes on the paper. Not anything that you decide that he gets 2 points because he missed weight. Not any of this because he started the fight afterwards and he popped for PEDs. No, what the judges say. If it's a 30-27, don't tell me it's 29-28 if it happened anything outside of the event.
well,
So
okay, fair, but my point is that the judges have to take like, if the judges are not going to honor what the organization is saying, then how does that, like,
they
factor in at
do
all then?
they do honor it, but it's not them honoring it, it's the organization. So the judges put down their scores 30-27. They wrote down 30-27. That's how they scored the fight. Then after, the promotion says, all right, well, now we minus a point on each one of the little boards. It's not the judges doing it. The judges score is the same thing. That's why they have to keep it formal, is because the judges are making the decision. The promotion is deducting a point due to the purse and the weight miss and anything, things like that. Maybe this person is going to answer some of your questions here, because I think this is a good little thing. So you are a database, not a sanctioning body at Tapology. Stop acting like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my point. Is that,
And
like,
then Typology responded. There's like a, let's see. You are not privy to the continuous stream of corrupt, horrible requests that promoters continually send to modify or change fight records. Whether it's us or Sheerdog or BoxRec, instituting our own policies is absolutely necessary in this global wild west of a sport. So that,
I mean, the global wild west of a sport is definitely not lost on me. That's one of the interesting things about this, and that cuts both ways. So I do get that. I think what I'm still kind of hung up on, though, is that, like, where are the judges getting the structure from? That's my question. Is like, what rule set are they going? I mean, I guess it's just whatever rules that they have decided. Like, are they a unified rules of MMA, or are they global? I think it's the international rules of MMA that One Championship uses, and that's just what they're going off of. Like, is that where like, I'm saying, what is the highest authority that Tapology is ascribing to, and where are they getting it from, based on that?
I don't know. Don't know.
Yeah. This is why I'm saying, like, there's a lot of deeper behind the scenes things in this sport that are, like, still, it's hard to know all of the it's hard to know all of the boots on the ground with all of this. That's why I'd like more transparency in this sport.
Yeah, I kind of like their response though. I think in my opinion, they made perfect sense. I think, yeah, and
Well, I'm
even
not. Again, I'm not mad at that. I'm fine. Like, I like that that is their stance. Because they're taking a hard stance on exactly what they just said. People coming in and manipulating things, right? But why is it okay then? Like, do they? So if they, for the UFC, if there's a point deduction in the UFC, do they count that, or is it just still the same way?
yeah, it's not if it's a point taken before the fight.
Right. Yeah. It's whatever happens in the fight itself.
That is tallied by the judges.
Right.
If they're trying to say that he comes in minus a point, that has nothing to do with the judging. That has nothing to do with the commissions. That's promotion doing stuff. That's what they're not going to honor because, as they're saying right here, you don't know how many corrupt, horrible requests that promoters are continually sent, to get fights altered,
Right. I
for
get
some
that.
odd reason. So
Yeah, I'm understanding it. Yeah, okay. I mean, look, I think that it's stick to your guns kind of thing for fairness, which I am all for. So I'm okay with that. Um, I I guess that's the bigger question is like how like if KSW starts it and it's successful for them, can't like I guess when the commissions adopt it, then it becomes law. You know what I mean? Law, quote unquote. Like
mhm.
then would Tapology have to go with it? You know what I mean? Like that would be my question. Is like what level does it have to be at? Because like I like it as a policy. I think that it makes the sport more fair. That's why I'm seeing it from both sides here. Is that like I like Tapology's stance because they're doing it in the name of fair record keeping, but KSW is doing it in the name of fair competition.
Mhm.
So, where's the middle ground there? And like, when does Tapology say, okay, you know, it, it's gotten to a point where we also acknowledge that now we should be taking it into consideration?
When that time comes, I think they'll come around to it. I can't really answer that part of it because, whether the commissions start, it has to be something that has to be accepted. Like that has to be a commission or whatever you want to say. It has to get the whole spectrum of MMA. Like, okay, we're going to start taking points away from people who miss weight. Like that has to be a thing that happens throughout the entirety of this sport for Tapology and Sherdog and these other ones that they named to to even care. I mean, we've seen them do massive updates to stuff like that too. Like it's not crazy, but as of right now, taking the hard stance is the best way to go because uh, they seem to know best as of right now. They gave pretty, this response right here was pretty good. I thought.
I agree. I do think it's a solid response based on what I guarantee you is backdoor dealings that like what they're describing. I would stake my life on that being true.
Yeah.
Organizations trying to play, all kinds of shady shit on the back end. So makes sense. But I think branching off of that, CTE asks an interesting question, which I don't think we've ever covered on the show before. So, speaking of varying rules, where do you sit on soccer kicks and knees to downed opponents? Of course, in the international rules of MMA, knees to a downed opponent are legal, but soccer kicks still are not. So it's somewhat of a mix there. But yeah, what are your opinions about those two things?
Not a fan of either. It's not my favorite thing because I've seen a couple Pride events. Even when you watched the Smashing Machine documentary, you got a good deal of it. Knees to the downed opponent's head is very dangerous. That is like body shots with the knee. Okay, that's one thing, but to the top of the head, to the side of the heads, a knee is ridiculous. Soccer kick, on the other hand, also ridiculous. Like that's absolutely insane to get a full wind up kick. But uh, I don't know. I don't know. Is there anybody out there who's like, yeah, we should totally have fucking. We should let each other punt each other in the face. Like I don't know.
Yeah, soccer kicks are a little like it feels a little bit like a bridge too far to me, but
Because the opponent has to be literally like, I mean, already kind of dazed for them to be waiting long enough for a wind up of a kick, I would say. Like,
yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's like a soccer kick to a downed opponent versus a kick to the head standing. I mean, how, like I think it's more again optics when it comes to that, right? I mean, like, think about the kick that Mauricio Hoofy landed on Bobby Green. I mean, like that's a nice, solid spinning wheel kick, full on flush knocked him out. I mean, had that been a kick in a different angle with the configuration of their bodies, like is it any more or less brutal than that? I mean, I don't know. So it feels like a bridge too far, but in the broader sense, I have seen the knees to downed opponents in one championship. Demetrius Johnson versus Maurice was, there were a bunch of those in that fight. In fact, I think that in that, I believe it was the second one. Don't quote me on that, but I think in the second pairing of the two of them, that was how Maurice ended up winning the fight, was via knees to the downed opponent. So um, I've seen it and kind of been okay with it. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like that's one of those things that, like, I'd have to see it more in practice to see, like, how, like, it how it actually manifests itself. But on the whole, I am generally more siding on the safety of the fighters, which is kind of crazy to say, considering that they get knocked out and stuff on the regs. I'm a little conflicted, I guess, is what I would say about this. Like, I'm not entirely opposed to either of them, I guess, is what I would say, which I know sounds a little bit crazy based on what I just said, but like, I like having seen the knees in, like what you're saying, in the smashing machine and one, they haven't been so brutal to me that it's like, man, we need to ban that. It's almost goes to like the oblique kick argument, where it's like, there an oblique kick, you get a good one. I mean, Khalil Roundtree landed that one on Bukowskis, right? Isn't that yeah, back in the day? So I mean, like, that took Bukowskis out for quite a long time. People had said at that point, damn, are these really something that we should have in the sport? It's like, why, what's the justification for not having it? I kind of see it the same way with both of those things.
I think the one that I have a firm, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from with that. If I seen it more and it was more, if I was more desensitized to it, I think it would be whatever. But I think the one that is dangerous as well that we don't talk about enough, people want to talk about knees to the down opponent and soccer kicks. What about fucking head stomps? I mean, that used to be completely legal in Pride. I mean, and they were vicious, dude. Fucking Shogun would literally jump in the air and like try to land on these people's heads. Like, that's pretty dangerous, but it is what it is. This is mixed martial arts. I personally don't see jumping and landing as a martial arts move, but that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, this again, philosophical type of thing. What people would say is like, if you want complete no holds barred, you have King of the Streets, you have Street Beefs. Like, there are organizations where you can watch absolute unfiltered, unfettered brutality if that is what you're looking for. The reason that I am so invested in the rules and regulations of the sport is that we do have them. It's like, yeah, it started out as quote unquote no holds barred, but it's not that. It's like, so if you're going to have any rules and regulations, how are they applied? How do they manifest themselves? Like, what's the standardization of them? All of these things play a factor in, how I view the sport. So on a case by case basis, it like, you can always point to examples of things that don't like add up to you. But like, when it comes to standardization of it, it's like, I don't know. I would have to see it in practice to kind of see like where my actual like appetite would be for it. But on the whole, I'm kind of okay with where it's at if it does end up staying where it's at too.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say too much. I've seen bare knuckle and I thought that might be my limit, but I genuinely do like that. I've also seen power slap, which, it is what it is, so.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if power slap's okay, then, then there's a version of it out there for you. Like, find the level of brutality that you're looking for, because it is all out there now,
And yeah, and that's actually to the next comment. CT ESPN CP Muay Thai question: any good modern Muay Sock fighters I should be watching? Honestly, I don't know the difference between that and the other ones, but I do know that there's a great amount of Muay Thai fighters on one. You need to be catching these Friday morning and sometimes occasionally Friday night streams. Which actually next week I believe is a Friday night stream for one. Just a heads up out there to Thinker and the chat. One
Yes.
is amazing when it comes to Muay Thai. There are some good MMA fights that are on there. Occasionally, you'll get a decent amount of kickboxing. Sometimes you get some submission grappling. You get a little bit of everything when it comes to one. And I just really hope that you get to check it out sometime. And some Lethwei. I do like some Lethwei with headbutts. I don't watch it. If there was a live tournament that I could watch on YouTube of Lethwei, I would stream it every fucking week. But I don't have that yet. So ESPN, figure it out for me, and we'll catch them.
Didn't we just hear them talking about Lethwei
And
getting
bare
some
knuckle.
in bare knuckle? Yeah. So where is that going to be?
Well, Connor's a fucking drunk, cocaine addicted, Christian man or whatever's happening now. So
Could have just
who
been
knows?
some random thought.
Yeah, he probably just had a drink with the guy, sold a stout, and then that went on about his day.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, no, all of those. I think that there's like definitely a value to all of it. And it's really just a matter of also what the fighters themselves are comfortable with. That's the other. I like going back to the initial question about the knees and, or excuse me, the soccer kicks and knees to down opponents. These fighters know what they're getting into with these promotions and stuff too. So if they agree to it and they're comfortable with the rule set, then fight on, right? I mean, that's what it, like no one's forcing anybody to fight. I would hope so. If that's the case, then if they're comfortable with it and you're comfortable with it as an audience, then it really comes down to the appetite on both sides.
I only really watch the big names on one. If I'm watching fights, it's probably Stadium Muay Thai. Yeah, so if you go Sunday morning, there's a league called like Muay Thai Extreme FC or something like that. It plays the following Sunday. It's like 7 in the morning at 7 a.m. I just said the same thing. It's 7 in the morning on Sunday, and they do like some real traditional Muay Thai fights there, and it's pretty legit. They have a lot of young people there, though. I'm pretty sure I've seen 12-year-olds on there. They didn't disclose the age, but I'm telling you, they've got young people, they got old people, and it's like the community gym version of Muay Thai. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, and as you had mentioned, Chase, I know you didn't do today on the one day where I could have hung out for it, but often on Friday mornings, Chase will be live streaming and doing watch-alongs for those one championship Friday morning fights. So definitely go and hang out with him for those because there's some great fights going on over there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think TJF brings up a great point. We could talk about Mr. Gable Stevenson, and
Gable
no, we're not going to
Stevenson.
bring up the allegations that he has and the court system let him off about. So we'll just talk about his fight performance. Go ahead.
Sure. Yes. No. Don't Google Gable Stevenson loophole. You don't need to do that. No. As far as his fight goes and his performance, look, he's been racking up wins outside of the promotion.
Against Cans.
Exactly. That's going to be my point. Against who? Everybody's kind of saying that what people are saying and what they're trying to conflate is that they're seeing good performances from him and trying to pick out elements of his style that they think would be applicable to the UFC. Now, granted, he does have a wrestling base, so he is coming in a little bit more well-rounded than a lot of the heavyweights may be otherwise. His striking, come on. I mean, like what we've seen is a lot of quick finishes from him. We've not seen him in a dogfight yet. You show me Gable Stevenson in a fight that actually has like some true adversity to it, then maybe I start coming around to the idea of him actually being something worth watching. Until then, he's just John Jones's boy, and unstrange bedfellows at the least. The two of them are peas in a pod.
Yeah, TJF, if you did not know about the court system and Gable Stevenson, just know that John Jones has got an apartment complex that Gable Stevenson is moving in right next door to in
Brother.
Chechnya.
His, dude, and I know that this might be crazy, especially coming from me, but if the allegations against Stevenson are true, he might be the worst out of the two of them.
Oh, goodness.
How crazy to think, right?
Yeah, he coincidentally gets along really well with John Jones. Yeah, total.
What I'm talking about, again, as I was saying, I didn't actually say it when we were talking about Kadyrov and all of that, but, John Jones finding new and unique ways for me to hate him and reasons for me to hate him. Just add it to the list. He surrounds himself with this type of person. He is this type of person. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck.
There was another thing of John Jones. He shared a picture or a video on Instagram of him with his dog or something, saying Happy Thanksgiving. And DC like commented or made a tweet or it's like, why is John Jones not with his family on Thanksgiving? And it was just kind of like a funny thing. Like
I had seen a picture of him with somebody else too, where it wasn't with his dog, but it was like I forget what it was, a fighter. He was with another fighter, and it was like a Thanksgiving post, and he was like thankful for my teammates, and I thought the same thing. Kind of, I was like, shouldn't you have daughters, bro? I mean, like, should you not be co-parenting and anyway, look, I. Add it to again, it's just like the list is so freaking long. You just throw it onto the pile. John Jones does dirtbag things and will retain a fan base. It never ceases to amaze me.
Yep, it's absolutely crazy. Shout out to everybody out there who's able to live on this earth with John Jones long enough to not run into him. So
yeah, for real, right?
Yep.
It's a good point. Well, cool. I mean, I guess that that's about it. I think we're good deal, eh?
Hell yeah, we got a good 2 hours out of it. The chat was here for us. I appreciate everybody. CTESPN. Did we touch on Hamzat wrestling John right after he said he needs surgery? Yeah, true. There there was a clip of them wrestling around. Wasn't my favorite, but Hamzat also, yeah, just telling everybody he's going to be out for 6 months and he'll fight after Ramadan. And then he goes out in here and wrestles on concrete with John Jones. Yeah, love to fucking see it.
Well, yeah, and then also John Jones admitting that he got taken down by Hamzat, but it's like play fighting, so who cares? Everybody tried to make a big deal out of that. I was like, but I did think it was kind of funny that John Jones said, yeah, that young man is very strong. I'm like, bro, he's like 3 years younger than you.
Yeah, John Jones is trying to be in his elder phase,
Oh yeah, self-imposed unk status, just so that he can continue to navigate his career as he will. Again, go back to my video on John Jones and his self-perception and legacy. One of my more finer works that I've done, I think.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I hope everybody out here had a really good stream. CTESPN. I hope we get to catch you on some Muay Thai time later. And TJF, you are the W, man, and I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Dubs to all you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it as always. Make sure you're liking and commenting and subscribing if you are new. Again, Warrior Review is out. My video about KSW that we touched on today is out. Hopefully more and more coming out, shorts coming out all the time as well. And then tomorrow we're trying to figure out exactly what we're doing for tomorrow. I'm probably going to be on live in some capacity. Don't know if it's going to be with Vitz or not, but we do not have UFC tomorrow. So we're still figuring out what that's going to look like. Either way, you can find me doing all of those things at youtube.com/@YamaShow. Chase, what about you?
They can find me youtube.com/@CPSmalls. Saturdays tomorrow. We're probably going to watch the UFC replay watch along if they do one. We'll see.
I had looked and didn't see one. Actually, I specifically for that exact reason looked for it and didn't see what it was going to be. But if there is one, then maybe
it might not be on. It might not be out yet. For YouTube, they'll put it up and you can put a low alarm on it. But youtube.com/@CPSmalls. Saturdays for UFC, Friday mornings, and sometimes at night for one championship. So please be there. Those are always fun.
Cool. Yes, indeed. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you very much as always. Thank you for hanging out with us. And until next time, fight on.
Game.